Hello, and welcome to Baelnorn and Friends. We're here on YouTube on Friday night instead of Saturday night, and we're not on Twitch anymore, so we're giving this a try. I hope everyone's able to find the stream all right. This time we have Critius,
Hi.
right? And Ormus down there,
Hi.
and then we have an orc that's in the bottom right corner there. Um,
Hello,
introduce yourself, orc.
I am an orc.
We're just going to call him orc the whole entire time. So I'm probably going to be drinking light this time because I'm drinking Rainier, my cheap go-to. I think Ormus is joining me in a drink.
Of course. Got some Not Your Father's root beer and some margarita mix for later.
Oh, nice. And I think the other two people are just drinking water.
I
got
Dr. Pepper and I'm eating.
Oh, nice.
I have Trulies in a Taco Time cup.
Epic.
Heck yeah.
Because of the ice.
Makes perfect sense. So this is our well, it's the new year. It's the first time back. We took a break over the holiday season. And we're excited to be back on this new platform. And I made a little stream overlay, and I'm very proud of it. It's really dumb, but it only took 20 minutes, but I think it turned out all right.
Looks good.
So things that we have coming up, we have Winter Badge coming up, and we have one of our people over here, Battlemaster Critius, Warlord Critius. He's going to be Sir Critius here in a week. So how you feeling?
I've been asked that a lot actually, and I it's always the same answer. Like no matter how close it gets, I just haven't really thought about it. I'm kind of a person that if it's not like directly in front of me, it's probably not in my mind. So, but I'm excited obviously, but I'm just very bad at like that kind of thinking.
Are you going to be doing a vigil?
Yeah, it's gonna be rough on me, I think.
Oh, is it going to be
I have a lot of people that have told me like our goal is to get you smashed. I'm like, yay.
that is one of the traditions. Are you
Yeah,
going to
if
be
it-
doing any ceremony like stuff for the visual, like anything? I mean, they're pretty open ended, so they're what you want. Especially, I don't know. Vaughn might have a tradition.
Yeah, he might. I'm not sure honestly.
Hmm.
if it's anything like Torgs, you're gonna have to bring a friend you can borrow a liver from. Jesus Christ, that thing was awesome.
So, did you get one of the little cabin rooms?
Yeah, I think I got the fire room or something like that. I I
Nice.
can't remember.
So I'm Minerva asking about that, so I thought that you might get your own little private room, which will be nice for your special weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, we have our first question by K.A. Minkler. Looking for LARP, Southern Oregon or Upper Northern California. Any ideas? Sadly, for Amtgard, anyways, there's really no holdings in Southern Oregon, and I don't think there's any in Northern California either. I don't know about any other LARPs. There might be, but I haven't heard of very many. There might be Belagarth.
Rono started a park in California, I believe northern. I'm not sure what area though. I can look it up.
He lives in
please do.
Redding.
Ah, yes.
Okay. So it's probably in Reading area.
Yes.
Yeah, I would guess.
Yeah, I will find the information for you.
Thank you.
Or alternate idea, move to Washington. Come join us.
Also a great plan.
You don't have to move that far north.
Yeah, no, you do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, move to Redmond specifically.
All right, all right. Trying
we have
to
we have
recruit those
we have
members.
Microsoft and Nintendo. It's awesome here.
So what day is your nighting on, Critias? I forget.
Saturday, and I believe it's the afternoon. I know like the night service thing, nighttime. What is it called? Court. Yeah. Casey's getting knighted at courts, and so I think mine's somewhere in the middle of the day, but I honestly have no idea. So it could just be sprung on me.
Oh, fun. Are you getting both your knighthoods?
Yeah, I told him I didn't want another ceremony.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Dude,
want
you
to
gotta
waste
milk
everybody's
it.
time.
You
No,
gotta milk it, man. One at a time, different gifts, everything for each
Mhm.
one. Come on, man.
no,
You gotta think.
I got things to do.
Too busy
Like
for all
recover
that.
from the night before. Oh,
I
Portland is
haven't.
the closest you found. Yeah, that's common. There's one in Eugene, which is a couple hours south of Portland, but it's still not that much closer to Southern Oregon, Northern Washington. Still a pretty big drive.
I have an answer. It's in Redding, California. The Facebook group is Realm of Solis, Solis, and that should get you the information you need.
Hopefully, that is close enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, it's a good friend of ours. He's a good guy. So I would,
Hmm.
if he's starting a
Nice.
park, I would say it's gonna be a good time.
So, what are you looking forward to at Winter Bash, Critias? Is it your knighting, or are you looking forward to the roleplay stuff?
Um, I don't know. I'm just excited to go to camp out, I guess. Pack War, I didn't do much other than like help around with stuff. Like I reeved or I was in the kitchen. So at this camp out, my goal is to just have fun. I mean, I'll help if like it's needed, but more so trying to have fun than anything.
Are you sure you don't want to work on that rose path?
Not at the moment.
All right.
Yeah, a wise person once told me, "Give up on your dreams. Be a flame knight."
Rough.
Which I
That
mean,
is
now I'm
very
a crown
rough.
knight, so I guess I kind of did. So.
So, I plan on doing content at Winter Bash, and I thought I was going to plan it out. I was going to maybe do a vlog. I don't know exactly what I was going to do because I haven't planned it out at all. I have not even thought about Winter Bash. I completely, well, I mean, I prepaid for it, and it was just it's in the back of my mind, and I hadn't really thought about it for until recently. So I haven't planned anything out, and I don't know what I'm looking forward to. Not looking forward to the group camping, but it'll be dry. That's better than real camping. So we have cabins, which will be nice.
Mm,
But it's
nice.
roleplay focused. I didn't read the roleplay rules, but there seems to be some kind of a roleplay skirmish going on throughout the day. They have a whole rule system set out for it. Did you look at that, Critias?
Yeah, I looked it over because they wanted me to be one of the main like captains of the two factions, and
Hmm.
it's interesting. Like, there's a lot of stuff though, so it's gonna be like a little hectic. I think it's a lot to
Hmm.
remember. Um, but I think it can turn out really good too. I told them I'll pass this time just because I'm way too competitive to have a relaxed, fun time if I'm at the head of some team. So
That's fair.
yeah,
We get to play. That's even better.
yeah.
So Ormus put you on the spot because you don't know, but you're thinking about maybe coming up Saturday, coming down.
Yeah, it's something that's been on my mind for about 30 minutes or so. We'll have to see. I'll have to see what's going on that weekend.
Oh, it's gonna be a long drive.
Yeah,
I think you should spend the whole weekend and you just split your drive in half and stay at my place, but that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be more feasible to come down on Saturday and then leave on Sunday. Mostly because if I'm coming down, I'm probably going to be drinking. So
Yeah,
if I'm going to
but
celebrate
you're
with
gonna miss the
Grittius,
vigil.
I'll probably miss the vigil if it's in the morning or the night before. So
Oh,
I think it's the night before, or at least that's what I wanted it to be.
it should be.
need some recovery time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you're not coming into peer pressure and going the whole weekend.
How many people are getting knighted?
4, I think.
If we count, yeah, it would be 4. New
I'm not
nights, there's
even
going to be 3.
Okay.
just
It,
Casey, Critias, and I don't remember the other two.
Theory and Vaughn.
And Vaughn. Okay.
it's kind of interesting because I feel like the last few campouts, either Northern Lights and Black Spire, it's all had multiple knightings, which is a new kind of thing to me at least. I kind of remember it mostly being single knightings for most events, but yeah.
Brian and Minerva said something, but my chat is okay. Crit leaves Saturday night, so he won't be super lit. Oh, okay. I
I'm trying to
probably
find
won't
the
drink
right
Saturday night
words.
either.
I'm trying to find the right words to make fun of you guys for having a joint YouTube account, but I haven't come up with it yet. Give me a minute.
All right. Take your time.
We got time.
Just come back to me later in the stream.
So other than Winter Bash, which is our next event in the Northwest coming up in next week, we have NLCC Northern Lights Coordination Corp Campout, which is in March. Personally, it is it's the Northern Lights event that I go to regularly because it's kind of like a vacation for me. I rarely work on or volunteer when I go to the campout because I volunteer down here a lot, or at least I used to. So it's kind of nice to go to. But this year we're working. I'm our House Gravy and Hypers Legion is volunteered to do a meal Friday morning, and looking forward to cooking that.
Hell
What do you
yeah.
think, Hybris, Mr. Hybris Peoples?
Yes.
uh, I'm not sure how to follow yes, but I'm super stoked for it, man. It's gonna be fun. It'll be good to work together. I have been in House Gravy for a while, and we haven't gotten to do anything yet. So am I the only one that can't hear him?
Nope.
Baelnor, Baelnor, we can't hear you, buddy.
How about now?
Yeah.
That's great.
I, I paused it because I was coughing, and then I forgot to put it back on. My bad. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing House Gravy stuff because we haven't done it since before the pandemic, and I've been. It's one of the things I really want to try to build back up. We have a lot of members for a household in the Northwest. I think there's 17 or something like that, but because it's been years, there's a pandemic, and it just hasn't. We haven't been doing much or anything, and people are just doing their own little thing, which is fine. But I'd like to do stuff as a household again because it was fun.
Yeah,
Motivates me.
for sure.
So what are you doing at NLCC? Ormus, do you have plans? Do you have things that you're going to be doing at the camp out?
Uh, I have no set plans. It's gonna be Gwyn's, uh, the end of Gwyn's reign, so I'm sure there'll be things that she'll need help with. So I'll kind of just be helping out where I can, and then, yeah, nothing set though. I haven't thought too much about it, honestly. Just kind of everything's been really busy in life, and it's far enough away that I haven't had to care about it yet. So
Yeah, it is a couple months. What about you, Mr. Orc? Are you looking forward to anything at NLCC?
Well, I've been thinking about uh elves and killing them.
Well, hopefully there'll be some elves for you to kill at NLCC.
I'm just joking.
Why?
I love elves. Kind of my thing.
Never thought I'd hear an orc say that he was an elf lover.
Well, we came from elves.
That's that's true.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Just have another camp out. Nothing in particular.
That's
Are you
fair.
gonna be entering the Dragon Master or whatever ANS competition they have?
Mm, I don't know. I've been really all over the place with my crafting, so I haven't really had a chance to focus on anything I want to make. So as far as like leather work and stuff, but we'll see. I mean, I don't think I will have anything done that I want to put in, but we'll see.
You gotta come in and stop Matrix from winning, or else his ego's gonna be
Oh my
way too
god.
big.
Oh, that's fair.
It's already too big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he won the last Dragon Master, so
Oh, did he? Oh.
yeah,
Well,
he
good
did.
on him. Still.
Yeah, no, great for him. I just like to put him down a little bit.
Gotta keep you going check, I guess. Um. Oh, something really cool is happening in LCC Spring is that Mezek is getting knighted.
Mm.
That's one thing I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to.
that'll be
Unless
good.
plans change from now until then, is for his visual, he requested a wizard staff tournament, and we're also going to be doing our first showing of the. We haven't really named it, but we're doing a household where we play wizard staff and we have all the rules that we're going to be using, so everyone can just go there, look at the sheet. This is what the rules are. There's no talking to people and rumors about rules. It's on the sheet. And you can win a wizard name if you get to. I think we chose level 15. You get to join the council. You get to be part of the household, and you get a wizard name. And we
You should call
keep track of
yourself the
that.
Wizard Conclave.
That's not bad. I like that.
Or
And
just the
I think
Conclave or something like that.
Sploob was. I don't know if he was joking or serious, but he might be the referee. I have a special name for it in the document. I just don't remember what it is. And he'll basically be the rules checker. If people have a question about the rules, he'll make the final decisions. He'll keep tabs on people's levels and keep record of, because different levels you get different titles. And he'll keep track. And we might do the boss battle version where every 5 cans you have every 5 levels you have to take a shot, and you like the fireball monster or something like that. You're fighting monsters like Jack Daniels monster. But that's, we haven't talked about that, but it's one of our bonus rules that we have in the future household where we can add it on to the base rules.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That sounds like poisoning.
Well, hopefully you'll save on your constitution save. But it's up to Mezek if we use that rule.
It wasn't even funny till he laughed at his own joke. Yeah, I'm super excited for Medzek though. He's a super great guy, really deserving. He's been working for it for a long time, so it'll be cool to see
Yeah,
him
I agree.
get that.
He's been in the game longer than any of us, I think.
Yeah, I think he was. I want to say like I think he said he joined in like 97, 96, something like that.
Yeah, it was
Like,
late 90s. It was at the.
Yeah,
It's like the second practice of Inland Ocean, I think.
yeah.
So he's one of the, not the founders, but a founder.
I mean, if you're there on day 2, that counts.
Yeah. Yes, Andrew, alcohol poisoning speed run. That's exactly what that is.
Yes.
That's why it's completely voluntary. You can do it if you want to. You don't have to. It's not like in a sanctioned game. There's no prizes. So
So
I don't
so
feel
far
too
the only
bad.
so far the only downside to moving away from Twitch is that he's not coming up as grumpy as Gus anymore. That's such a great username.
It is. It fits Gustav pretty well. But I'm glad you found the chat or the stream. I wasn't sure. Oh, a big yawn.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
so I think
yes.
I saw.
No, go ahead.
I think I saw something that you posted on Inland Ocean's page a little while ago, saying that you need new people to run because you're not going to do it now. So someone step up and I'll help you. So how's that
Yeah.
going?
Um, Lots of people have liked the post. Nobody's comment. Well, only like 2 people have commented, which tends to be sort of the MO for Facebook, where it's like, oh yeah, like
Mm.
people liked it, but it's like I don't even know if they read it. Honestly, they just clicked the like button. But yeah, we're trying to get new people to run. We have a pretty good base of new players, but the we're having trouble even when with as like we're growing and stuff like that. We're still having trouble filling all the positions if people just aren't running for them. And like I'm ending my second term as monarch, so I can't run again. Uh, and I need to take a break because I pretty much went straight from like being I haven't been out of office for about 4 maybe 3 years now, something like that.
Oof.
So yeah, it's time to take a year off and yeah, let somebody else do it. I guess there might have
So,
been like a 3 month gap or something. I don't know.
well, it doesn't count. Not really. You have to. It only counts as at least 6 months in between because that's a term limit. That's my
Right.
idea. Otherwise, you didn't really take a break. You just waited until you could run again.
Yeah. There might have been a 6 months, but that
Okay.
was it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
barely a break.
But yeah.
So, Andrew asked, why are you on YouTube tonight? I didn't actually explain that to anyone on the stream. So, I will talk about that now. So, it's a new year. It's kind of like a new season. A lot of streamers are like, every year is a new season kind of thing. So, basically, I wanted to try something new. YouTube, it counts for my hours watched. So it helps me get closer to the monetization of the YouTube channel. For LARP stuff, there's really no community at all on Twitch, but on YouTube there is a community of YouTube or of Amtgard or LARP people. So it's more likely that people will see this because I have a more active follower base. So that's the reason, just to see if 2 reasons. So to help monetize my channel on YouTube, and hopefully get more eyes in the LARP community on the show. Those are the 2 basic reasons. I'm still going to be streaming my writing and or tabletop content creation stuff on Twitch because there is a community for that there, so I'll be able to get more exposure. But for Amtgard stuff, I think I'm going to try and stream just on YouTube this year and see how it goes. Oh, it's just sativa now. They say I feel that. I've been chancellor for almost 3 years. Different parks, though. Yeah, it is pretty brutal. Being PM is taxing. It's the one office I've never done, so I don't personally know, but I didn't want to do it because it's a lot of work. So, um, mainly the reason is because I'm really bad at reading people's handwriting, and that's like the job of the PM to enter credits, and like I didn't want to try. It's just a lot of book work, and I know at the kingdom level how much work they have to do. So at the kingdom level, especially, I don't want to be PM because they have a lot of responsibilities, and I am not currently up to that, and I have never really been up to that. It's not my forte. So yeah.
Yeah. I'll do PM at land level. PM at kingdom level is insane, especially at the Northern Lights. Like any sort of responsibility that comes up that they're like, we're not sure how to define it, they give it to the PM. So the PM has like a whole bunch of stuff that's not even books related, which is dumb. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
down here they do too.
yeah, it's like a
I don't.
catch-all.
Yeah, anything that has to do with almost anything that has to do with money. There's procedure. They have to deal with keeping minutes, notes, stuff like that. Then they have to be on the BOD. I mean, yours has to be on the BOD too, I think. But then that's a whole nother responsibility. That's another job on top of the job that you're already doing. And I have stepped away from BOD stuff for the last 5 years or so because I don't want to deal with it.
BOD's rough.
It is. So, it's been a while since you've been in the offices, right, Critias?
I just got out of KGMR.
Oh yeah. Are you looking forward to doing any more offices in the next couple years?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
See, the best
What
thing
about?
about the oh sorry.
No, continue.
I would say the best thing about the knighthoods that you're getting is you can use them as an excuse to not hold office. They'd be like, "Oh, you're a knight. You need to hold office." Like, whoa, 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 I'm a battle knight. I need to be focusing on the battlefield and like our new players and stuff like that, like in battle games. I can't be doing all that office stuff. It's perfect.
I don't need an excuse. I'll just straight up tell them no.
All right,
I'm
fair
not
enough.
not an office person.
Giving them the non-political answer. Good job. You're not built for office. Good job.
That's
Giving
a
them the truth. Who wants to know the
that's
truth?
for real though. Honestly, there's some people that aren't built for it, and that's okay. Like, there's other ways to be a role model and stuff like that without crunching numbers and planning schedules and stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, Mr. Orc, have you done any offices?
I was a chieftain once.
How'd that go?
Well, everyone died except for me.
Good job.
I've been a pro tem monarch for like 2 months back in Texas, and then I moved here. But then I've just held regent offices, I believe, in Champion once or twice. Yeah.
Are you looking for? Are you gonna do any more offices in the future, or is it pretty much whenever you are needed?
I've debated going for regent on the next reign, but it just depends on what's going on in mundane life at the moment.
Yeah, like region of the local park or kingdom.
Oh, local.
Oh, okay. I think
But
you do a good job.
I'm looking forward to. I want to do more like classes and stuff at events, like leatherworking and weapons and all that stuff. But it just we'll see how it goes.
There's a um an IFRA, a class day coming up in NL. Are you doing any classes for that?
I am not. I haven't actually been privy to any of that. Haven't paid attention to it.
No, I mean
Yeah,
me either, really.
such
But
a good night of paying attention to things.
I just saw a post. They're asking for some kind of fighting or class and a basic sewing class.
Hmm.
But they seem to have a lot of classes. I kind of skimmed over the schedule. I don't know what day it is though, or where it is where it is. Otherwise, I might consider day tripping it. But
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up.
apparently, we lost Ormus.
Hmm.
Hopefully, oh, I hear him.
Sorry, I had a nosebleed. I had to
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
So It's fine. I just had to jump off the screen for a second.
That's fair. I don't really want blood on my screen, on my stream.
We're not rated for that.
Nope.
Demonetized.
Yes, demonetize that not monetized channel.
I took the opportunity to plug in my computer as well.
Oh, smart. Don't want you to just die in the middle of stream.
Yeah. No, what was that? 2 streams ago or something like that, where we were like racing against the clock for my computer to die.
Yeah, we made it though, didn't we? I think
Yeah.
yeah, we did.
Yep.
So out of character a little bit, Mr. Orc. It's actually Uno that people didn't know. Surprise.
Ah!
He's been a knight now for it's been about a year almost.
Coming up on a year in
Yeah.
in OTC.
And you finally got your master hood, which you're wearing now, and I think you got your scroll.
Yep, I did.
How'd those turn out? I mean, the master hood looks really nice.
Yeah, Northern Lights on this side, Hybris on this side, and Phoenix on brown. The scroll is amazing, made by Medzik.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's in the other room.
Who made the master hood?
Cole, from our park at Inland Ocean.
Okay, not the other Cole.
Not the other Cole.
Okay.
There's a few Coles around.
Yeah.
We have 2 Coles at our park actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They go by Elock, though the other one.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Dude. Elock is so funny too, man. His girlfriend or friend, I don't remember which, entered like it was like an oil painting, like old style portrait of him and his armor and stuff. He looked like it looked like something that would hang in like the hallways of royalty. Like it was like a self portrait, or it was like a portrait of him, and it was amazing. But
That sounds pretty
so
epic.
fancy, like so over the top. It was great. It was weird
yeah,
because like we were doing court and they had it set up like behind us. So it was like behind us there was this like painting of Elock just there random.
That's pretty awesome.
that was amazing.
So Critias, going back to your future knighting, I'm gonna put you on the spot again and ask you what are your thoughts, not necessarily about your knighthood, but about knights in general? Because I think when I have you on again after you're knighted, I'm going to see if they've. I'm going to ask you again in a couple months to see what your thoughts are. So what are your thoughts now? I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Just like in my thoughts in general, or like my thoughts on what they're supposed to do, or
Oh yeah. Thoughts in general, and I guess what do you think your responsibilities should be as a knight? Um, I guess specifically battle knight and sword knight. What do you think your responsibilities should be, or what their responsibilities should be? Because you're not one yet, but you will be in a week.
responsibility wise, I've always subscribed to the idea that a masterhood and a knighthood are almost the same. The only difference is a masterhood is you've proved your personal skill, and a knighthood should be you've proved your people skills, if that makes sense. Like being able to teach and stuff like that. Um, that's kind of where I thought about, and that's kind of what I'm going to try to do. What I've been trying to do, I guess, this whole time, so I could continue to teach and help people whenever I can. It's something I enjoy doing a lot. I don't ever want to like barge in on someone and be like, "Let me teach you something," because it's kind of weird. But if anyone ever asked, I love teaching. It's really fun.
Yeah. So, oh well, I had a thought and it completely escaped me. So what are your thoughts about the Night Circle. If you want to touch that, you don't have to, because it can be volatile for some people.
Let's hear it.
I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I think I'm gonna have to sit in on at least like one sitting to figure out where I am on it. I have absolutely no problem leaving it though. I like if I don't want to be in it, I'm not going to. And I yeah, that's just it. Like if I don't vibe there, I'm out.
Hmm.
There's
I think you should
very
come in like a wrecking ball and make them vibe with you.
That's also something I could try. I don't know how well that would go over, but
I'd be down for it. I can't speak for any of the other nights. Oh, just Sativa, cough, SKBC, cough, cough.
oh yeah. She wants me to go to the next SKBC, but it's in like Florida or something. I don't remember.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
It's a long way to go.
It is. I was thinking about going to see if I could record stuff again because it's good for the channel,
Mhm.
but that's a lot of expense and time. Well, the time's not that big of a deal, but expense. It's stressful. So if you go, I'm more likely to go to keep you company.
You'll probably get an
Sweet.
invite to teach.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that would happen, but I kind of was like, probably not, since I'm like across, like I'm so far away. Why would they bother, type of thing?
Well,
But
if you're going, then you could say, "Hey, I'm going," and then they might ask you to teach or co-teach
maybe.
because
I
they get a
think,
selection of visitors and locals. So
yeah, most from the conversation I had with them last year was like if pretty much like new warlords are generally invited and you get like a basics class and a class with another instructor. Like I was
Okay.
supposed to do basic sword and shield and a team fighting class. But they pair you up with someone too. So even like the basic sword and shield, I was paired up with a veteran instructor. So they don't
Okay.
throw you to the wolves necessarily. But the instructor that the veteran instructor that I had was like, okay, I'm just there. Just put your class together. So I'll just help out where you want me to. I was like, oh, sweet, just what I just what I wanted. uh, but yeah, like if I don't know, it depends on whether or not they're keeping track, honestly. But because they originally didn't send me an invite because they thought I was Miller. They were like, "Oh, we already invited him." And I was like, "Oh, no, you didn't." They were like, "Oh, you're not Miller." I was like, "No, I'm not Miller. Thanks, though." Like,
they should have thought that Miller was Trevor. That's not fair.
that's right. If anything, he should be me.
So my suggestion is when you determine if you're going or not, um, message them and if you want to teach, and see what they say. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if I really want to travel that far. Like it would be awesome to do, but like I hate traveling so much.
I
That's
will
such
say,
a long way.
dude, the best thing about traveling though is most of the time you end up in a hotel, and there's nothing like an Amtgard event with a hotel bed and your private shower. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
That does
Like
sound nice.
last SKVC, Gustav and I got a hotel room, and I do not regret it.
I slept in my car.
I've done that before too. Are you looking forward to Keep? I know you talked about wanting to go to Keep at some point.
I actually don't know where that's at this year. Have they like put that out there?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't either.
I think it's usually in the same area, isn't it?
There's three kingdoms that have it, and I think it rotates between the kingdoms. But it's
Hmm.
all the same sort of general area. It's just it's in the well, I guess the Midwest covers a huge area, but it's somewhere in the Midwest
Yeah.
all the time. I think last year was in Indiana, right?
yeah.
So you still have to do a lot of traveling, Critias. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I figured it's probably going to come down to that. I mean, yeah.
Are you gonna drive or are you gonna fly?
If I had the choice and I had the funds, I would probably honestly rather drive. I don't like
Hmm.
planes and
What?
flying.
Ah.
What?
Same.
Oh my god.
Same.
That's a long
Nonsense.
drive.
I would fly fucking I would if I had a choice, I would fly to Portland if I was visiting Blackspire if it was feasible. It's not, but if I could, I would dude, flying's so much better.
Not true. Not true.
I get to
I
just
have to
put
agree
my
with her on
headphones
this.
in. Get to put my headphones in, sleep on some stranger's shoulder. It's fine. Like
Dude,
it's amazing.
you could do that when you're driving.
But then we die because I'm probably the one driving.
Well, that's unfortunate. No, I'm looking forward to you going to the MHOG tournament, Gradius, because I really like it's for content, obviously, but I think it would be really fun to like record your journey as a video and see how you do in the tournament and just do a Cradius's trip to MHOG video or something like that if you're down for it.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get knocked out very quickly, but it'll be fun
Oh,
anyway.
probably not.
That tournament's deep, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the videos recently, seen the names. Like, I got some legit fighters in that thing.
Well, it just means you have to practice more.
That is true. I should be doing that anyway, honestly, but it's hard to in the winter. I don't know why. I just don't have the motivation to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, a lot of people, it's winter. I mean, I haven't been out as much either.
I had somebody ask me recently, maybe a couple months ago, and they were asking me like, "Oh, like before you got your warlord, like how much did you practice? How much like blah blah blah? How hard? Like essentially, like, how hard did you have to work?" And I borrowed from my favorite Daniel Tosh stand up, and I was like, "You think I got here with hard work and perseverance? I have a gift from God." Like, and I forget my sense of humor is a little dry, and they just stared at me, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm kidding. Like that's a joke. Sorry."
Yep, gestativa seasonal depression's a thing. Ormus, did you turn your camera back on?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
It
I
is
gotta
not.
fix
It
that.
is not showing it in the video now that I look at it though. That's funny.
There, fixed it. Apparently, in full screen mode, it does not show when someone uh, turns their video back on. But I fixed that, so there we go.
Good to know. Sorry.
That's okay. New to me, it just happened this stream when, so with Critias, because Critias' camera's on, and I don't know, and had or the orc earlier. I know, new problems. There's always new problems.
I'm curious as to your guys' opinion. Uh, I feel like a lot of these events we kind of we touched on the fact that all these events have like multiple nightings and stuff like that. Do you think after we sort of work through whatever backlog that we've had, it'll go like settle back down, or do you think this is just a new norm?
I think that it will settle down, but I think it might not be the new norm, but I think it might be a little bit easier to or more numerous after it settles down than it was before it settled or before the pandemic. At least in Black Spire, our backlog is huge.
Hmm.
There's like 10ish people we're voting on next escape or next at Winter Bash. I think I don't remember exactly how many, but there's quite a few. And several of them will maybe pass. So, and I don't think we've even passed everyone. I don't think we even knighted everyone or planned the knighting for everyone that has passed. I have to double check, but like at Winter Bash, we have like 4, for example. I don't. Or do you know how many of this is going to be at NLCC, or is it too early to tell?
No, uh, it's 3 or 4, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, Veronica has this weird thing. So it's funny. I'm married to the queen, and I think I've never been in a place where I've had less information about what's going on in the kingdom. uh, but I want to say it's probably 4 because I think um, and I know there's Medzek. I'm pretty sure Miller is getting knighted. maybe there's more than 2. I don't know. I think it's probably 3 or 4. I don't know who else it is though.
Hmm.
You,
Yeah.
you,
So yes, Mr. Orc.
it's like that the policeman at the uh Hot Fuzz. He's like, nobody tells me nothing.
That's right. The receptionist at the police station.
Yep, that's how I feel all the
Nobody
time.
tells me nothing.
Yeah, it's a good movie. So, what do you think, Ormus? Turning the question back on you. Do you think this is the new norm, or do you think it will level out at some point?
Um, if it levels back out, I think it'll be a while. But I don't think it'll ever get back to what it was because I do think higher level awards have never been more attainable. Uh, I'm not trying to say easy, but they're people are recognized at a much higher level than they used to be. I think that's going to lead to like I want to say last rain, uh, or over the last year, Northern Lights gave out I want to say 30 masterhoods, something like that. So it's
Wow,
a lot of up and coming people and for votes and whatnot.
it's been similar here.
Mm.
One thing I noticed that which was different before the pandemic is now a lot of the times people are giving 10th and masterhood at the same time. So it kind of skips a step from before the pandemic. I don't know if that trend will continue or not, but that was something different that will affect the knighthoods going forward. Because before it was like you got your 10th, but then you kind of gotta, not everyone, but you had to show that you're a master. Your breadth of work rather than just individual items is at least how I viewed it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes forward. But I mean, if it changes, it changes. It's fine.
I don't really support them having to put in more work for their masterhood, but I'm okay with them waiting to get their masterhood, mostly because like you know sometimes like when they get their 10th, you want more time to like get a scroll made or stuff like that, or maybe you want to really emphasize the masterhood instead of lumping it together with the 10th, like having it have its own like sort of time to shine. So I don't necessarily agree with 10th and masterhoods given at the same time, but not because they have to do more work, just because I'd
Mhm.
like to put more emphasis and gravitas on the masterhood award as opposed to just kind of doing it all at once.
I mean, I agree. To be a little bit more nuanced with my answer, someone can get to 10th by doing 10 items. Like, it's not usually the case, honestly, but 10 items doesn't, in my opinion, show necessarily a masterhood because there's not enough body of work. But generally speaking, when they go up to the 10th, that there's other things with it to go with their body of work to show that they are potentially a master. So that's the difference for me when I say body of work rather than having to do more work. You don't necessarily have to do more work to get your masterhood, but a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes there's just not enough work to show that you are a master.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
At least that's my take. What about you, Critias? Do you have an opinion?
I'm basically in the same boat as Ormus. I think it's not. I, I like the idea of being able to give a 10th at like a random KLE, for instance, and then a masterhood at a camp out, because it gets the 10th out there, because like you earned it, here's your thing. But the big thing is going to be pushed off a little bit to either make it look nicer, or whatever the reason is. I like the idea of having them both separate.
What about you, Sir Unum?
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, I guess it kind of depends on the situation too. I guess like say there's someone who's at 9 and they've been cranking out like master stuff, right? Like they've been really getting it, and but for some reason they haven't got their 10th yet. But and if they just get their 10th, then they're just going to be waiting that much longer, even though they've been doing master level work. So if they do have all the stuff ready, scrolls and all that to provide at when they award the master, then I think that's okay, you
Hmm.
know. But
I can
yeah,
open the chat up the question in the chat. If anyone wants to weigh in, that'd be perfectly fine. We'll bring it up. I'd like to hear from chat.
I think there's always I think the issue with so many 10th and masterhoods coming together is it's expected now. Like it could be cool where it's like, oh, he got his 10th, that's really cool. Oh shit, they're giving his masterhood. That's amazing. You know, like it's a big surprise. But right now, if somebody's given their 10th, you're like waiting. You're like, okay, well, let's see the masterhood. You know what I mean? And like
yeah,
it's still cool, but it's not. I don't know. I agree with Unum. Uh, it's I just feel like it's not as if it's at least maybe it's because I'm jaded, which is possible. uh, but it hasn't felt as special lately seeing other people get their masterhoods. But I don't know. It could be me. Honestly, it's Amtgard has been weird for a little while, so that it could just be a product of that. But yeah, I don't know.
It's an interesting uh, conundrum because things change. It's the nature of a culture that things will change and evolve. So I'm just curious to see how it will evolve and how it will be in a couple years from now, because it really depends on the monarch, who's monarch. I mean, it's they're the ones handing it out, so it's up to the monarch that gets in power. And in some respect, it means it's up to the populace because the populace is voting for that monarch, but they may not know that there's specific intentions for awards. But you know, we get Veronica on here. Let's get her opinion. That's the queen. I'm
Uh,
joking. I wouldn't force her, put her on the
I was
spot.
I could ask her. She's definitely in her pajamas right now, and I'm not sure if she wants to be put on camera, but I'm sure she definitely has opinions. That's for sure.
Yeah, she would. Well, you can
She's
speak
in.
for her. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that.
she'll love that.
She always appreciates when I speak for her. So she thinks. No, I was kidding. She's in the next room, but I'm gonna text her.
Okay, and I don't expect her to come on. It's especially if she's in her PJs. But it's interesting because I haven't talked to any of the monarchs about it or anything like that. I just kind of shrugged and went with it. I've been kind of staying in the background for a lot of things lately since the pandemic. It's just life is has its own problems. I don't need to get into culture wars or I don't even know what you'd want to call it.
What I've personally found lately that so when you, at least for me, running for office, like my favorite part of being in office is giving out awards. I don't know when you do it at the kingdom level, it's like when you're the monarch, it's there's a way more expectation and people have all these preconceived notions of how exactly it should go. And when you're at the local level, it's just appreciating people. You know, it's there's no politics involved. It's just, hey, like here's your fifth griffin because you did a really cool thing or something like that. And so I've been kind of sticking to local stuff instead of getting too caught up in kingdom stuff lately.
Yeah, you know, I've talked to some of my friends about it. But I think I'm going to run for an office again this year, either summer or winter. At the local level, I haven't decided what. I was going to run with someone. I forget who said that they were going to run, and I was going to maybe run regent with them. I think it might have been Calzar. Um, but I kind of want to
Nice.
do some local land offices again because it's fun.
That's the
It's
good
useful.
stuff.
Yeah,
Honestly, like the local stuff is what's really I don't know. You can do a lot of good and it's still rewarding without the major drawbacks and stuff.
hmm there's a lot less. Sorry, I'm just gassy tonight. There's a lot less. What's the word I'm looking for? Management of people. That's not the word I'm looking for. Conflict resolution. there's a lot less conflict resolution you have to do at the local level than what you have to do at the kingdom level, especially if you're monarch. Because you have to, cause there's a lot of people, just different parks have different personalities, different expectations, and so when they come together at the local or at the kingdom level, then you have to navigate through those, and sometimes you have to be a moderator between those two different conflicting ideologies or whatever you'd like to call them. So I guess it's politics to a degree, but I always consider it more conflict resolution.
It's finding a politically correct way to say get your shit together.
Yeah. And there's a lot more cohesiveness at the local level, so that's what I think makes it a little bit more enjoyable as being in office. Also, you got to recognize the not the little guys, the newer people or the people with the that are just starting to work on their crafts or sword fighting or battle gaming or when they're starting to take it seriously. Like Cormac, for example, he's been playing the game for not as long as me, but a really long time, and he didn't start getting awards. I mean, he got some awards, but he didn't really start working on any paths until 5 or 10 years in. And so, for as long as he's been in, he's doesn't have as many awards as some people might think he has, although he's up there now. It's recognizing the people when they make the effort to start moving on up in the awards path, I guess.
That's cool.
So, you're a Kingdom GMR, Critias, which killed you on running for offices, I imagine. What do you've been champion to local level, haven't you? Have you done any other local level offices?
I technically was a sheriff of Dusk Hollow at one point, but I mean it was during winter time and I was the only one that showed up, like literally just me. So
Oh, oof.
I,
It's
I don't
hard.
know if I'd count that one. But other than that, I've done champion at Silver Moon, and I've done 2 Kingdom GMR runs. I think I did GMR Silver Moon at one point. But yeah, land level stuff I'm okay with like doing again, but just Kingdom stuff there's so much stuff you have to deal with that you shouldn't have to deal with, and there's no way to tell these people like this is dumb. Why? Why is this happening? Type thing.
Yeah.
So I just I'm like nah. If I do run again, it's gonna be a while.
Well, I hope to see you at local office again at some point. You got a
Yeah,
pretty good head on your shoulders. I like seeing you take leadership roles.
I try to be good.
So, Unum, when are you going to be running for the next office? Apparently, Inland Ocean is in need of officers. I think you said that maybe you'd run for regent.
Yeah, it's possible. We'll see how it gets closer. I don't know if the declarations are open yet or not. But
No, they
Yeah,
open
I'm
on
sure.
the 30th.
Hmm.
okay.
You got a couple weeks.
We'll see. We'll see how I feel by that point. But I know it's an office that I know if I run for regent. I'm not super interested in monarch position, but I guess we'll see what we need and stuff, and we'll go from there.
Well, it sounds like you need a monarch.
I think I've got Matrix convinced to run for Monarch.
Oh,
So
okay.
Hopefully, yeah,
He has
because
the
he's really
energy.
excited. Yeah, he's got the energy. He's really excited. He ran his own backyard LARP for a while, which I mean that doesn't translate a ton, but I mean he had to organize days and stuff for people to come together. So uh, honestly, this last reign with me as Monarch, I've been Monarch, but Matrix was champion, or no, sorry, Matrix was Regent and Talius was champion. I sort of just let them. I made the schedule, but they pretty much executed it. So I've been kind of like stepping back and letting them do it. So and
Oh,
getting
it's
them
a
some
good learning
practice.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got a little bit of practice from this reign, and I think I can convince him to run for
And
Monarch.
if he messes up, you're still there to help. So
That's right. My
Unless you're
new
taking a break from Amtgard.
No, not from Amtgard. Just from running for office and just holding office. Like I'm teaching and helping is I'm here for that for sure. After seeing like how we treat officers in general, my new policy is that instead of where we it's the new IO policy is we won't let you fail. Like if you want to try it, I don't care who tries it. If you want to try it, and then we'll the park's not going to die from one person who didn't know what they were doing. So we can just be there to help them and guide them. So
Yeah.
yeah. We've had a sort of a bad culture in Northern Lights of a lot of kingdom level offices, but I've seen it at local levels as well in other parks. IO in the past, kind of, but not nearly as bad. But um, people who are like, "Oh, I know that the monarch has this thing they need to take care of, and they're not doing it, so I'm going to wait till their deadline passes and then call them out on it." Instead of like going and being like, "Hey, dude, like this is coming up." You know what I mean? So it's like instead of waiting to call each other out on stuff, like let's just do it together. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to help push for a better culture and treating our officers better.
It's a good plan, Sir Crown Knight.
Yeah, a little bit. What's that? Self-serving, I guess. But
So, not to put you on the spot, Cretius, but what were you eating? I mean, I know it was dinner, but what are you eating for dinner?
French toast. It's very good.
That is
dude,
awesome.
I was so excited when you said syrup. I was like, "What is he eating with syrup? This is
Yeah,
amazing."
Is it one of Minerva's delicious meals?
it is. Yeah, she did really, really well. I had eggs too, but the French toast is the star.
Hmm. Yeah, she's a good cook.
Yeah, I agree.
Did she change the YouTube username to just Sativa?
Yeah.
I just I just want to talk about the fact that I'm taking credit for, deserved or not. She's changed her name on two different platforms because of jokes that I've made. So I'm feeling pretty good right now.
As you should. Ah, sorry. Are you working on something there, Unum?
Oh no, not
Oh,
really.
okay.
I was
Okay. I thought I. Hmm?
I was just reading stuff, but I've been
Oh,
working a new my new version of my swords. So I'm trying out the new foam that replaced Aether Tube at Optimum Sports.
hmm.
So this stuff is like this is the new, and I'm really excited.
Is
It's
it
like
lighter and more durable?
uh according to Brett, that's correct.
Hmm.
Um it is definitely lighter. Like comparing two exact swords to each other, built the same way and everything. Um Aether or it's like 0.35 ounces lighter
Hmm.
on that sword. So that's pretty significant. But
Yeah,
we'll see how the
especially if
durability.
it's especially if it's just as durable or more durable than Duratube or Ether Tube.
Yeah, it cuts really nice and all that. And I'm sure it's plastic dippable too if people want to do that.
Hmm.
It's
Critias, you fight with a lighter sword or heavier sword?
Um, I don't honestly know what the weight of it is. I've had some people tell me it's light, and I've had others tell me it's kind of heavy. So I really couldn't tell you. It feels nice to me. So
If you like light swords, dude, these swords that Unum's been making are they're like a cheat code, I guess. I don't know. It's ridiculous how light they are. Like he's made long swords that are lighter than my short swords. Like it's bananas.
yeah, I'd love to try one, but I also I don't know. I don't want to break anything.
Nah, you won't break them. I was letting other people use them, and they weren't breaking
What kind of core do you use?
them. For mine, I use golf club, but I'm making a bunch with kite spinner too. To
Okay.
so I know 100% that it's not going to break if I use kite spinner. But I use golf club for mine because I know they're superior if I get the right club.
Hmm.
So I
It's
always
all
search
about
for,
what club you get.
yeah, you got to search for like the name brand stuff like Wilson or whatever golf brand, and it's got to be like a driver. It can't be like a whatever the other ones are. I'm not a golfer. I just cut the swings apart.
You're not a golfer. You just know more about their shafts than anyone. So,
Yeah. Hey, you get a
I
nice one, dude. They're so light.
I used to when I was younger, I got this like batch of golf club shafts that like when like right after the handle it had this like bubble that came out and it
Yeah,
was like dude, and those break just constantly. I had 5 of them. They lasted maybe a month, all 5 of them.
yeah.
Like they were just snapping left and right.
Yeah, I got several like in my collection that I'll just cut them apart and use them for like daggers or something like that. Yeah, you don't need to that's some terrible stuff.
so are you making your stuff to sell or just for funsies?
Um, it's all still you know prototyping, so I don't have a something I sell like specifically, but I'll probably sell a few of these just so you know get it out there and get testing from other kind of fighters and stuff. So, because I hurt my left arm, so I can't really go at it super hard with
Oof.
them. So,
Well, I kind of want a longsword again. So, like, if you have any extras, don't make one specifically for me because don't know when I'm going to get my money. But like at NLCC, I might pick one up from you if you have an extra.
okay, got one building right now, so it's like 44 inches or something like that.
Because I always liked long swords. I mean, they kind of went out of fashion for quite a while. Um, but like Florentine used to be sword or short sword and long sword. So
Yeah,
when you entered two swords, it was a short sword and a long sword in the tournament. It wasn't two short swords.
yeah,
At one
traditional.
point when I was playing,
Yeah,
so that's kind of what I grew up with. Doing two swords with a long sword and a short sword. That's pretty fun. People don't expect the extra like was it 6 inches or something like that?
up to 12 inches longer. Yeah,
12 inches, a foot longer. Yeah,
yeah, that's good stuff.
yeah. So
And
uh,
oh sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna leave the stream in Ormus's hands for a minute because I have to go use the restroom. And I thought I was only going to drink a couple beers, but apparently I'm drinking a little bit faster than I expected earlier today. So I need to go get my other beers because I only brought 3. So I'll be right back. Continue the discussion. I appreciate. I love it.
I have a I actually did have a question for Critias. More of the questions I'm sure you get tired of because you're going to be a new knight, so it's all kind of based around that. Have you do you have people in your belted family already, and have you thought about how you're going to do like squires and men at arms, like elevation stuff like that? Do you have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, I have currently 2. Um, they're technically at arms right now. Right now they have page belts. I'm working on the other belt, but if they were to be asked, like they're at arms level. Um, but the way I've like planned this type of thing out is I wanted to give people something to work towards when it comes to belts, and I wanted to make the page belt more meaningful than just like here's like the belt for a child type thing. So my idea was just like anyone that I belt, the belt they get is where their orders are at. So like 1 through 3 is page, next 3 is at arms, next 3 squire type thing. Uh,
I like
there's
that.
obviously going to be exceptions to that because I think there are some people that just for some reason get passed up on awards even though they're at a certain skill level where they shouldn't. So obviously there's going to be some leeway here and there about it, but like that's basically what I want to do, and it's what I have been doing. It's what I'm going to continue to do. I think.
That's a really cool idea. I never thought about that. Like, I've definitely thought about the having different requirements for different levels and stuff like that. But yeah, I never thought about just basing it purely on ladder awards. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it seems to be working so far. I mean, I mostly did it just so people had something to like work towards other than the actual award because I know that can get, I don't know, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. Like you get these, it feels like the same thing for a little bit, I guess. You're just getting like the same award type thing until you start to get the higher ones. But yeah, I wanted some way to help push people, I guess.
Nice.
Has that been
Yeah,
working?
So far, yeah.
I don't have a
Awesome.
really good reason for it, but I feel like 4, 5, and 6 is like tedious levels of awards, or maybe even 7, because it's like you're working towards the next level, but you're still it's like you're working really hard to break into the middle. But it's
I
hard
don't
to do.
I don't remember who told me, but it's something like I completely agree with. They said once you hit your seventh, I think sixth or seventh, that's when you're like halfway there. Not the fifth level. It's in that area because like that's where the skill like needs to increase a lot. Um
Oh yeah,
yeah, so I think that I understand what you mean by like that area is kind of tedious. It just doesn't feel any different than the other ones, I guess, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I want to say like with my Orders of the Warrior, I think I got my ninth like from my ninth to my 10th was like probably God, had to have been like 5 years. Like it's a long
That's a long
transition
time.
between
Yeah.
those two. Yeah, so it's like definitely like 5 is not halfway.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it kind of depends a little bit on your park and what kind of awards they can give out because it's easier to be noticed at the local level. And at the kingdom level, generally speaking, long term trend, it's harder to be noticed for the work that you do. And so it can take a lot longer. Other than it takes more skill than 1 through 5, or 1 through 6. So it definitely takes longer at the higher levels. And I think can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people have probably experienced that have reached the pinnacle or knighthood or masterhood or whatever has experienced that like 7, 8, or 8, 9, 10, just it slows down and it can be frustrating. Yeah, I think people are getting more rewards seem to be going out, so I think maybe more people are being recognized. So sometimes it feels like things are being given easier because, for example, I went through and I'm going through a difficult time getting awards, and other people have gone through difficult times getting awards. And that's just the nature of the beast because Monarch can't see everyone. So yeah, I think that's also part of it.
We may have been later to the game than some of them, but literally the advent of the Google Doc award recommendation forms
Yeah,
was a game changer for getting people recognized. Because
yeah,
like I remember like my earlier terms is like when I was Prince of Stormhaven and stuff like that. It was recognizing people from parks that I had barely been to, but we didn't have a document like that. It was just trying to remember, or like maybe I heard this or that, and so a lot less awards going out because you can't see everything, and the award recommendations forms were a huge changer culturally, I think.
Oh, for sure. Before them, it's word of mouth. It's people going up to you and like, "Hey, this person did X, Y, and Z. I want them to maybe get this award." And at the kingdom level, it's even harder because it's like there's multiple parks, so you only get told things at Kaylee's, or when you go to their parks, if you're the kind of monarch that will visit on off Kaylee days. And then the internet, we had like Yahoo groups, there's just a lot less chance to recommend people pre using the Google Forms and stuff like that. So I think
People always
that go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say people always talk about the dumpster fires on Facebook right now. Like the old Yahoo mailing list, dude,
Oh
were
my
were
god.
lit. Those things were amazing.
I have a lot. I haven't looked through them, and I don't think I will. But I have all of the Yahoo groups stuff from back in the day because I haven't deleted any emails from most things in my Baelnorn Hotmail account, and I've had that since high school. And they haven't told me I have to delete anything, so I still have my earliest emails. But
Yikes.
yeah, they were. That was a dumpster fire. I did a lot of because I was king in the transition between Yahoo groups and Facebook, like right before Facebook, because we were using Yahoo groups and everyone wanted a forum. So I made a forum on the Kingdom webpage when I was king, or maybe right after I was king. And so we had a forum for about 6 months or a couple months, and then Silverlock said no, and then we ended up going to Facebook. We could have had a forum on our webpage for Blackspire, but it was being well used. People were using it. It was going really well. And then the next Monarch, which was Silverlock, just said, nah, Baelnorn made it. I don't want to use it. So then we went to Facebook. But yeah, the Yahoo groups was a whole nother ball game. I don't know. Have you used mailing list, Critias?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, you're young enough that it wasn't really a thing when you were getting onto the internet.
Sweet summer child.
I remember when I first started back in, was it like 2005 or 2004 or something like that. All the records were kept in this one chest of like that they brought to the park. Like I'm sure they had like the original record keeper at the time. I'm not sure, but all my sign-ins from that time never ever made it to the current stuff. But
Oh,
by that
uh,
time I had already quit for like 10 years, so I'm not. Yeah.
I know.
I,
Cayenne was the new Kingdom Prime Minister, and they're looking through all the paperwork that they got, and there's still some old records from VSR in there, back in the late '90s, early 2000s, character sheets. Because we used to have to keep paper records of everything, so there's like a sheet like your persona name, and then each class, and then each class had a little spot for like checks marks for when you got credit in that, and yeah, it's a whole thing, and we still have some of that in our Kingdom level box, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, back in the day.
I just remember there was a period where the orc was out. Like people were using the orc because Stormhaven used it, but like not every kingdom voted to adopt it. So the orc was out, but some places were still not using it as their official record keeper. So they were still keeping paper or their own method until eventually everyone came around.
Yeah, and Blackspire, I think it was even we didn't even use it regularly until Blackspire. We were late adopters to the orc as a kingdom. There was a fight to get it on. They're like, we can't have our records held by this not our group. It's it's a ploy to take over our kingdom. That's literally some people's arguments, that it was a ploy to take over our kingdom. I could probably find it in the Yahoo group's messages if I really wanted to. It was kind of ridiculous. Our local group adopted it like in, I think it was like 2005 or something, pretty early. our local group, Sylvan Fan in Newburgh. And that was kind of cool because before we were keeping on Excel sheets and stuff like that. A little bit better than paper records, but yeah, it's wild. It's wild what we've gone through.
Yeah, I think we only keep 3 years worth of records as far as paper goes. And even then, now that some of the now that they have like the mobile orc and stuff like that, where you can do your sign-in sheets online and stuff like that, it's there's going to be less and less paper because we've been doing that at our park.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to have a paper backup for a little while because the orc has hiccups. It's still not independently. It's not professionally run. People are volunteering to run it. Um, I don't really think it's hosted on an actual server at other than at someone's house. I think it's like a professional IT person, so I'm not too worried. But like, it's not held on like Amazon Web Services or something like that. So if
I
their
think they
house
do
goes
now.
down, oh, do they?
Yeah, I think they
Okay.
moved all that stuff over because they kind of if I remember right, I could be wrong. But this was one of the topics when I was king was that they were working on kind of condensing all the online presence into one area and having like a solidified budget for it and stuff like that. So I think it's all hosted on the same server now as like the orc, like Amptwit wiki, the website, all that stuff. I think is hosted on the same servers now.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if it's not private, but I thought it was still a private server.
It could be. I could be wrong.
I mean, there hasn't been too many issues, but there's been some downtime here and there. But it's a volunteer ran organization, only gets paid, so it's not like I, expect someone's job to like keep it up or anything like that as a at the same level as it was a paid service or anything like that. That's not fair. Thank you. That's getting annoying.
What was?
Oh, you didn't move because of that? Oh, the shadow of the fan was on your wall slightly up, so it's just flickering like it almost looked like your video is flickering, and it was just it's a little thing, but it was frustrating. It was like drawing my attention.
I got you. I got it taken care of now.
Yep. Oh shit, we lost Unum.
What's this one now?
I'm a mysterious stranger.
Sir Stranger. Okay.
You look like you could be any evil character from the Rings of Power series.
Mm. I am trying to bring back our Lord Sauron.
Ominous.
And also, I'm bringing sexy back.
Good luck on that, sir.
Thank you.
So Mr. Young person over there in the corner, Critias. So what do you think about hearing our horror stories? I guess it would be of the past.
I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it because I wasn't there.
Okay.
I think no matter what, though, there's always going to be stories like that. Like it's just inevitable.
Yeah. Just wait until you have those stories from back in from when you're older, and you can look back at you're like back in my day.
Yeah, there's gonna be a time when Critias is doing all of his like communication and like virtual reality, and he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, do you remember when we did everything on Facebook groups?" Like it's, yeah, you know what I mean. It's I feel like it's the natural progression.
No, Mike. I'm guessing it's well, can't remember his Amtgard name. Oh my god. Anyways, there is no Unum. There is only Zool, and I thought that was good considering everything. And Noah Mink says, "Why does Ormus have to show off his arms like that? It's cold out, you know."
It's always warm around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
just brings the heat.
it's just yeah, I'm just bringing the heat all the time.
So Critias, Are you still like how's Arcana going? It's one of Blockspire's premier fighting companies. It's one of the bigger, larger, active ones, anyways.
We're doing all right. We've slowed down a little bit because of winter time, which is normal for us. But we still like keep in contact. We have our own little private Facebook group that we post in and stuff. But yeah, around wintertime we slow down a little bit. But we're still planning on doing some team stuff here and there. It's just a lot of our guys don't come out as much, so it's like a smaller team-based operation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're
Have
doing
you
well.
All right. Have you done any winter practices, or are you pretty much cut winter practices?
We did a practice last month. I wasn't there because I was sick that day, but I think there was three of them showed up. So that's, I mean, it's not awful. It's,
So who's leading it nowadays?
Cameron Sploob still is
Sploob?
our head guy, and that's being voted on at Winter Bash actually on whether that changes or not, which I don't think it's going to.
Yeah,
So
that's your yearly thing, isn't it? You
yeah,
also do
yeah,
your fighting tournament to determine who's the what alpha. What do you call it?
death, yeah, the death
Death.
card, yeah,
Oh, okay.
Wait,
yeah,
wait,
that,
wait.
hmm,
The
yeah,
what now?
the death card, like the tarot
What's
card.
okay? What does the death card signify? Like, is in your company?
It's our top fighter basically.
Okay, like your champion.
Yeah, pretty much. We have like I think it's every camp out we do a tournament of just company members, and whoever wins that gets the thing. And then that person's duty is to plan practices.
I want to do that in our company so bad. Like have a regular tournament that determines, like come up with some fancy Roman term for it, whatever. But you get a title.
I like it. It's a lot of fun.
You already have the title of Praetorian for someone.
Yeah, so that's our full members are called Praetorians.
Oh, well then don't use that.
You start out as a plebeian, and then get promoted to Praetorian, and then we have every kingdom has a signifer, and that's the person in charge of carrying the banner for that kingdom. And then we have a council with three people on it, sort of an advisory board type thing.
That's pretty much what ours is too. The 3 points. We have our main like head person. That person picks like a side person to be there if they're not able to like do something, and then our death card is like the third one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's so many similarities that you guys can just be Hybris South.
You know what's funny? The last company that wanted us to join them disbanded, and their leader joined us. So
Who's
keep
What
that?
company
talking.
was that?
Like
Harbingers. Torg.
Torg and
Oh,
Black
Black
Company.
Company.
Yeah.
Get wrecked. Black company, not you guys.
Well, I mean, technically, Arcana is the elder company. You should fold into them.
Yeah. Respect your elders.
Hells yeah.
I don't think so. Nah.
So
Maybe
you
we'll
give
have
out.
another falling out.
Wait, what now?
Let's not have another falling out.
No. I'll be right back.
All right. So for your group, Hybris Legion, have you got 20 members yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I think as far as full members go, I think we just hit 20 and 21 at our last
Okay.
meeting. Yeah, it's getting pretty big. Oh, there's a lot of people over in Philadelphia. That's our like second group over on the east side that Monkey Man has. There's
Oh, nice.
3 full members and a couple of plebes there. Oh, 4 full members now and a couple of plebes there.
You're like international for Amtgard standards.
That's right. Mr. Worldwide, except company, not Mr. I don't know. There's something there.
So I'm thinking, I'm going to pledge right now to your company once you have 29 members. Just saying.
You're trying to be triple X.
Hells yeah.
I I've been making jokes that as soon as we start to get close to that, I'm gonna drop my number and take on be a plebe again, so I could be number 30.
What's your number?
3.
I'll take it. I'll trade you places.
We can swap.
If you really feel that you need that triple X, I'll take your triple lines.
Yeah.
You have to shave your head though.
Hmm?
You have to shave your head if you're triple X.
Oh yeah, be
Ooh.
a stunt man.
I wanted 20, but apparently that passed me by, so
Yeah,
I'll
sorry,
take 30.
buddy.
It's okay.
I think that went to Piper.
I don't even know that person.
Oh, she's Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. Oh yeah. Now
She's
I
a
want it
knight.
even more. She's
Have
a
you ever
knight?
heard of have you ever heard of Sir Jinx?
I've heard
Uh,
the name.
Jinx Mercedes.
I don't think I know the person, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, his wife is Piper, and she's a knight in Amtgard as well. And yeah, she just passed her vote for Praetorian like last month, I think, something like that.
Is she out with Monkey Man?
Yeah. She seems hella cool from the couple of meetings and stuff. But yeah, the East Side group seems like a lot of good people for sure.
Well, Monkey Man would know how to pick him. He's a pretty decent person.
He is. He's also picky, so I have no concerns for that side of the country at all.
That's good. So what area are they in? Actually, I have no idea where Monkey Man lives. I know it's out east somewhere.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia area. All right. What kingdom's out there?
Crystal Groves, I think.
All right.
TG.
Yes.
I like Monkey Man. I haven't seen him since he was out when I was at IO earlier last year or last year sometime.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good peoples.
He is. He's always entertaining. He's changed a lot, obviously, as everyone does now that he's got a kid and a wife.
Oh, he has a
And
kid? I knew he had a wife. I didn't know he had a kid.
yeah, I think he's got to be like 2 or 3 years old at this point.
wow.
3.
They've had 3
Yeah.
Christmases. That's all I know.
That's how you keep track. Yeah.
From
That's
the Instagram post or whatever, or Facebook post.
that's Unum Squire,
Not
not
Monkey
the
Man?
child, Monkey Man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not yet. No, I was kidding.
Investing in the future is what that is.
Gotta hook them while you're young.
I told Veronica, because Leon's really interested in Amtgard. I told Veronica I'm going to make a list of fighting companies he is or is not allowed to join. Yeah.
I got some that you should add to the list, but you're probably sure which ones you should join anyways. So
Yeah,
I have opinions.
he's pretty much stuck with Hybris or Arcana. Yeah,
Those are
shit.
pretty good ones.
Yeah. I can't think of any others.
Like Crucible would have been alright, right? But they disbanded, didn't they?
No, they're still going.
Crucible. What was the one that
Oh,
disbanded?
yeah.
Templars.
Oh, I missed the joke.
He said Templars.
Oh, well, they still exist, didn't they? I don't think any of them play.
No, in the loosest of definitions, yeah.
No, it's the one that Mezek was in.
Oh, Aegis.
Aegis, that's the one that disbanded, yeah.
They're just a household now.
Oh, okay. Harbingers recently went to being a household too.
Sometimes it makes sense.
Yeah. And if you find out that you're not doing anything together for a couple years and you're not fighting, you're not doing practices, you might just be a household.
Yeah, because like Aegis specifically has a lot of really good people in it, and like people I really enjoy, but you know they don't field as much, so it wasn't wasn't as big of a draw.
Being in a fighting or running a fighting company is hard, and succeeding as a fighting company is hard. There's just been so many fighting companies that just didn't go anywhere. That's fine. I mean, as long as you guys are everyone's having fun, but it consolidates into just a few notable house or fighting companies in the kingdom, at least in the Northwest, anyways. I remember when we used to do company battles, and I guess Casey is running for Monarch again, and they're running on a platform of a company wars kind of thing. So I'm not sure what companies in Blackspire exist to do that anymore. So it'll be interesting to see if they win how that goes.
Are there a lot of like unaccompanied people in Blackspire? Like,
You know, I would say there is, but I don't really know. There's Arcana, which is in their teens, I think. There's Annihilus. I don't know how many they have in Blackspire. Then there's a new company, and I forget their name, started by well, I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
Arlenok.
Farlanok, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Farlanok started a new fighting company, and they have a couple members, but I think a lot of people just aren't in fighting companies, and I'm not sure why.
We have the
thing.
we have the exact opposite problem up here, where like everyone's in a fighting company out here. At least it feels that way.
Even in Silvermoon, my local park, where Arcana is pretty big, there is still several people that are not part of Arcana or any fighting company. Yeah. Critias, when they're able to come back, might have a better finger on the pulse of the fighting company community in Blackspire, because I've been kind of out of the loop because I haven't been in a fighting company or really fighting for quite a while or fielding myself.
Man of the people.
The only ones that I know of are like the ones you listed and then Eclipse.
Oh, Eclipse, yeah.
I'm back, by the way. My thing says it's on.
Oh, I gotta do the thing. I don't know why Discord started doing this.
I tried to low-key send you a Facebook message to turn his camera back on, but
Oh, don't low key it. I don't have Facebook up. I have my OBS in one screen and I have Discord on another screen, so I can't. I guess I could finagle it to have Facebook open too. I just didn't think I needed to. But apparently, I need low key messages.
I'll be right back though. I'm just gonna leave my camera on though.
All right. So I don't know. Were you there, Critias, when we were talking about the amount of people, percentage wise, in Blackspire who are not part of a company? Do you have an opinion on, like, is it more common to be in a fighting company or not be in a fighting company in Blackspire?
That's hard. I think there's a decent amount of people that aren't part of one. And if they are, I mean, if they are part of one, like I don't know about it type of thing. I feel like there's more now than when I joined. Like when I joined, I feel like companies were very big. There was like Black Company, Eclipse, and the Nihilus were the ones that I saw, and there was like if you weren't this one, you're that one type thing. Like, but I think that died down a lot. I'm not sure why though. It's kind of
I think
weird.
Harinders kind of imploded right before you started, I think, or as you started, because we were in our teens, maybe 20-ish.
Yeah,
But
I remember Harbingers a little bit.
but a lot of us just all stopped playing at once.
Yeah.
That kills a company.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, it took a long time, but it killed the company. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Arcana.
It happened twice. I just brought it back.
Oh, okay. Well, good job.
Thanks.
That it's not easy.
I'm just too stubborn to die. That's the only thing. And then eventually people that left come back and then it's like, hey, this is still a thing.
Oh, cool. Gotta know. Is Tony still part of the company, or is he being inactive and he's kicked out?
I don't think he's been inactive long enough, so I think he's
Okay.
still part of one at the moment. They're still
All
part
right.
of us at the moment.
I know it was, he got closed a couple times, and he's one of the founders. Although he left and came back, so I don't know if you consider him a founder anymore.
No, we restructured a lot, like after he left. It was his idea for it was if you're wanting to be a sword knight, like join this company, and that's what we're only striving towards, like nothing else really. After he left, I don't really know. I know someone was with me when like a lot of us left, and it was just me and that person, but I cannot for the life of me remember who it was.
It was a little
Um,
while ago.
yeah, but we like made some changes around some stuff, and we made it more like an actual fighting company for like team-based objectives, and then about a year into that, once we got some traction and had like a decent group of people, we're like, okay, we need like an actual like document of like our rules and stuff because we're kind of just winging a lot of it right now. And Darb helped a lot with that, I think. And pretty much that day, I think, was when we were like officially created as to what we are
Mm.
now. That was actually at a Winter Bash, I think, too. So that's kind of neat. Special place.
Well, don't completely forget the origin despite the restructuring, because it's
Oh, we
fun
haven't.
to. Okay, good.
Yeah.
'Cause I
No,
don't think you have to
part of
give.
it is still like if you want to be a better fighter, that's what we're gonna help you with. But like we're just not gonna be so self-centered. We're gonna focus on team stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be a sword knight and all you want to be is a sword knight, just become part of Shaden's 3-man fighting company.
Yeah.
For the love of me, I can't remember the name right now.
I
Legacy.
there you go.
Legacy, yeah. Opie's back. I don't know if you know Opie, or Miss.
Of course I know Opie. He wears like the gray and blue tunic, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's
Like
the
I
guy
think so.
he's
you
a
confused with Calzar.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's been
No,
coming out about once a month now, at least, I think.
I feel
I think you should.
legitimately bad because I love Opie. I did not know he was gone.
Mm, family. He has kids now. He's married. Uh, his job was intensive. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about life stuff in a while. But yeah, there was pretty good reasons for him to take a step back. But he
Sounds like it.
seems to, yeah, he's been coming back out. It's been nice seeing him out. I know last time I
Gotcha.
saw him was at a Silver Moon for Toys for Tots tournament, and Critias and him were off on the side doing some sparring and talking about teaching and stuff like that. So it sounded like they were making some plans, but I just kind of jumped in and at the last minute, so I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, he's better at single stick than I am, so I was kind of picking his brain on how he does it because I know like there's the obvious stuff like he has more reach than I do. He's got like
Dude's a gorilla.
long, yeah, long dangly arms that can reach around any guard I do. But like there's obviously more than just that. So I was like, okay, what am I missing here? And I think we came to the conclusion it was like I need to get better at closing in. Like my guard when I close in is what I need to
Mm.
focus on a little bit more. Um, and then yeah, we just kind of talked about that, and then some life stuff, mostly kids, because like he's got two, I've got one. My one is a terror, and I'm like, how did you deal with this? Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
so are you,
He's got a good build for single short. 'Cause he's got the long arms. He knows how to use his feet. So like he can use all that to its advantage, and like there's the threat range he has is a lot like larger than the average person. So where you might feel like you're safe, you're actually not.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I dealt with I fought him quite a few times over the years, and that's kind of what I took away was like I have to act like I'm in close range when I'm in what I would consider kind of medium range.
Yeah, I think single sword's still my weakest, so I'm trying to make that change, but
Single
I
sword
was
sucks.
I love Steel Sword.
I
I
have a
hate
lot
it.
of
Pones
fun
me.
with it. It's just my guard is not good enough, and I take like the smallest things that hit me, so I'm sure that doesn't help. But like I don't know. I know I can get better at it. I just haven't had the mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and actually look at what I can do to get better at it.
That means you do it the right way, though. If you take every little thing, then like you're taught to block everything, not just most things.
Mhm.
So like you're teaching yourself to be a better fighter by taking more. So
Yeah,
all those people who are like okay with blowing off this or that, not saying sloughing, but like people who are like, oh, like it wasn't really like if they try to talk their way out of stuff, then they're getting good at talking, not fighting.
right,
Like
right.
it's yeah. Hey,
I always
sorry.
thought it
That's
would just help me be a better fighter, just because like if I'm not getting touched, I'm not dying. Like
Mhm.
regardless of how light the touch is, if it's not happening, there's nothing there type of thing. So that was my thought process on that, and I got a lot of pushback on that when I first like decided that's what I was gonna do from multiple different people. Like they told me I was just like hindering myself, and like I'm taking stuff I shouldn't, so I'm losing fights that I shouldn't, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll get there eventually.
The only good argument I ever heard, uh, because I had the same thing, because I've tried to adopt the same mindset over the years, and it started with, of all people, Delos. I was talking to him way back when at a Rosewood he randomly showed up at,
Hmm.
and it was when V8 was still kind of new, and the rules of contact had changed a little bit, and it was like it took a little bit more to like there's more like you can kind of talk your way out of, or there's less that counter. You know what I'm talking about? Like it had to be a little more solid. Uh, and Delos said people nowadays are looking for any reason to not take a shot. He's like, I want to find a reason to take a shot. So it kind of put me in a mindset, like it really hit me hard, and like I was doing the same thing as you. It's like I'm gonna start taking everything. I don't really care about the new rules. I'm gonna take whatever touches me. And the only good argument I ever heard was when I was told you're teaching people that their bad shots are okay. And I was like, man, at the end of the day, like I can't be completely responsible for them. You know what I mean? Like they fight plenty of other people. They'll have plenty of other examples. You know what I mean? So it wasn't enough to sway me, but it's a good argument, but it's not enough, I don't think.
And you could
Yeah.
combat that by explaining to them, I'm taking this, but I mean, not during the fight, but like later, like, this is what you should have done. This is what a legal shot is, but that's an extra step.
Right.
I think a lot of it, it's like, that with new fighters that's different, but like, if I whiff a shot and like it barely makes contact, like, if they say, "Oh no, it's good," it's like, cool, it's good, because I know on my end, I would probably take that too. Like, I'm not saying that my shot was good enough, but it's their job to call the shot, right? It's not
Yeah.
my job to say it's good or not, on them. So, like, because a lot of times I feel like I didn't hit anything, and it's just like, oh, it's right, yeah, it's good. It's like cool, and you just roll on. Like, I think people spend a lot of time deciding on whether it's good or not, and less time just moving on and fighting. Like less time talking about it unless it's important. But
Yeah. Well,
I
I
feel like I'm
also
saying one is nothing there, but
I'll definitely like I've had moments where like certain fighters, like especially like if it's like Unum or Talius or some of the people I fight so frequently, might be like, oh, like I don't think that was good. I'll really stop and evaluate it. But like, for the most part, like if I'm fighting pretty much anybody else, like anyone outside my park or whatever, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm I've never like tournaments are high stakes, but it's very rare that you're in a position where one fight is going to end your weekend, you know? So fuck it.
Yeah.
There are two instances where I'll usually tell someone that my shot wasn't any good. It was one, change in motion, because a lot of people don't notice like the wrist breaks or the movement of the elbow or whatever. So like I'll tell them my shot was late or missed stabs, because it's really hard to judge missed stabs sometimes, because those are the two shots that I find myself letting people know that those don't count. But light shots, like exactly the same with you, as you guys. Like,
Stabs are rough to call too, because there's no minimum force. It's just if it stops on you. So it can just be like the smallest like push and it just stops for that split second, but that's a good stab. Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very, very hard to call stabs. So yeah, I think it's super important to like call your own like missed stabs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. The one thing I'll definitely take pretty much at face value from any other fighter is if they called it late, because like you know better than I do if your shot was late because you understand your mechanics better than I do.
Yeah.
Because like you know if your wrist broke, you know if it was you can tell if you changed directions. I don't know, like you know what I mean. I can tell roughly half second, but like it might just be me where maybe my awareness is not that good, but I can't sit there and be like, unless it's egregious, be like, man, your wrist broke. You know what I mean? That's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
So if someone's like, that was late, I'll be like, are you sure? All right. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, no, no, I'm taking it. Like, you know, if your shit's late, it's late. I'm going to keep fighting. But
hmm
yeah. Um, yeah. But there's also, I was at a NLCC spring, at Miller, Sylvania. I just remember because I did really well in like a tournament. I was kind of on a high that weekend, and um, I won't say who, but somebody came up and they were like telling me like that they respected the fact that I did it, uh, you know, without having to do those things like cheating or talking your way out of things. Like I did, they essentially said in their opinion I did it the right way, and that meant a lot to sort of there's definitely a lot of people who talk about warlords and stuff and the kind of general oh they cheat and stuff like that, and it's kind of just accepted. But if you can serve as like the example of like no you don't necessarily have to, like that's a cool position to be able to put yourself in. So I took it really seriously after that event.
That was a big goal I had actually on my path. It's like that's all I ever heard was like, yeah, they're that good because they cheat. I'm like, maybe, but I don't know about that. Like, because I mean, there's some like obviously you can tell, but like most of the time, I think people's eyes just can't see as quick as stuff is going. And I've actually learned that to be true. Like the more I fought, the better I got, the more stuff I could see. It was kind of weird. But
Dragon Ball Z.
I guess, yeah, kind of like that. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to read now because I can see like pretty much everything, and it's so much fun to just be like, no, no, that did not hit. They're like, I saw it. I'm like, no, no, it did not. I promise you.
There's a photo from I think it was last Saturday, and in the photo it would show with like 100% like positively for sure that Matrix is just blasting me in the face.
Yeah, I took that picture.
And dude, and I was like, I was looking at it with Matrix. I was like, you didn't hit me in the face in this. That's just my shield. But if I just saw the picture and didn't remember the fight, it's like, dude, you racked me in the nose. What are you doing? But yeah, so it's like it takes a it's funny how that kind of stuff can be deceptive. But yeah.
That's a problem I have with people that like review videos and be like, see, this is my proof of them cheating. It's like angles are a huge deal, like when you're looking at shots landing, because like one angle can be like, yeah, it looks like a hit, and the other one you can see like completely through it, like there's a giant gap of like light, like obviously it didn't touch the person, but
Yeah.
because it's at one angle or the other, that kind of messes with some stuff. So anytime I see like videos and stuff, I try to be like keep that in mind of like if I see something where I'm like, I don't know about that, I have to like kind of it's weird. I have to change my thought process on some stuff, and I have to really like pay more attention to that person Not that I really do that often, but just like anytime that it's happened. But I think it's super important when people review videos or look at videos and pictures to keep in mind that angles and lighting can create like images that really aren't what they seem, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Big Smoke knows a thing or two about being blasted in the face, according to Big Smoke in chat. So, Critias, you mentioned something about people saying that, oh, this warlord is a cheater. You want to call anyone out?
No.
Okay.
Are you trying to get him to call out cheaters or call out people who are calling them cheaters? Because
Oh,
there's
warlords that are
both,
cheating.
honestly. Oh yeah, because there's those too for sure. Like
Yeah.
No.
it's not unfounded.
If you really want to know, you could literally just ask anybody that tournament fights like
I mean,
regularly.
I know a couple that are good people but still cheat, and it's really frustrating.
Oh yeah, we never mind. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
But
getting
yeah,
there.
I know what you're
He's
talking
getting.
about.
You need a couple more drinks, and you're gonna get there.
I
Yeah.
almost slid that right in.
Mm.
Nah.
the
Nah, that's
I
fair.
feel like warlords who cheat, the ones who actually cheat, like not just the joking like all warlords cheat, but the ones who actually cheat, and not even just warlords, but the Amtgarders who cheat on the battlefield, they're the worst kept secret. Like everyone knows.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
for some reason, it's like I don't know if they think they're getting away with something, but literally everybody knows. Like it's not a secret. It's yeah, it's common knowledge. Like
To everyone but them.
yeah,
They have to
I
know.
don't get it.
Some of them have to, right? Like,
You'd think.
I don't know, man.
Are they able? I'm trying to figure out. I've always wondered, like for like decades now, like do they rationalize it in their head? Do they not know? Like, is it like do they not realize that they're cheating somehow, or like do they find a way to justify it? Like it's this weird thing to me, or is it like they've just like, oh, this is how you win the game, and that's how they justify it. So I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Unum's quietly making a list of all the people he's going to out here in a minute.
Yeah. No,
Unum gets no shits.
no, I'll just have a good time, fight, whatever.
That's
They don't want to take the shot,
fair.
they don't take the shot, whatever. That's on
Uh,
them.
my my old knight Robin, he used to always tell me because he was an absolutely amazing fighter, and I remember going to him. The one thing about him too is he did not do sympathy. Like if you go up to him like, "Oh, dude, that guy's sloughing me," he would say things like, "What are you complaining about? That means you get to hit him again." And stuff like that. Just that was just his mentality. He's like, "Dude, is like that guy's sloughing me? I get to keep hitting him. I get to keep fighting, and fighting is what I enjoy." I was like, "I don't know how you get there, man. Like, I really wish I could just be that zen about it."
I think it's definitely easier now that I have like I don't have to win tournaments. I want to win tournaments, but I don't have to get like that next like thing anymore. So it's a lot easier for me to be like, whatever type of thing. And Vaughn actually told me that when do you remember Hyde Baelnorn? Cade?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Him and I were when we were like pushing hard when he came out, we both like went to Vaughn, we're like, hey man, we keep there's someone that keeps like just taking us out because they won't take our shots, and we both have experienced this multiple times. And he's like, so?
Ugh.
And we're like, we're frustrated. He's like, I know you're frustrated, and I know it sucks, but you got to look at it like you were good enough to where they had to cheat to win against you. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but that doesn't help me with what I'm pushing towards. He's like, you'll get there. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I remember walking away from that and like I knew he was right, but I was so frustrated.
It's
And
like
there
it's
was
a
a
good sentiment, but I still lost. Like
yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, that was the first time I've ever heard of like trying to turn it into a positive thing. on your end at least. And yeah, the more I fought and the more I like did stuff, the easier kind of that mindset got to be. And now I just don't care. So
Well, it's because you kill him anyways.
I try to.
You just have to kill him a couple times in the same fight.
I remember there was one point where I said it wasn't good enough, and they're like, "Dude, you're like one of the best fighters in the kingdom." And I told them if I can't kill this person 3 times over before they touch me, I'm not good enough. And I'm still pushing that thought process.
I've had.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
oh,
Well, I was just gonna.
it'll keep you. Oh my god.
Oh,
You
sorry.
go.
You go. You go.
I want to
I'm
drink
gonna.
my beer. You go.
Fair enough. Okay, you drink your beer. I've recently, not recently, but like for the last couple of years, whenever someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, dude, that guy slept you," I'm like, "Nah, man, he just wanted it more than I did." You know what I mean? So it's just like become my mantra. It's like, ah, he just wanted it more. That's fine. Like it's, yeah.
So Big Smoke says, I don't cheat, but I'm so naive that I'm easily persuaded to swing for the other team. I need guidance.
I've read that comment like 4 times and I don't. I'm
I
not.
don't.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly what he means by swing for the other team in this context.
Yeah.
So
I
I'll
would-
wait for
yeah.
a clarification there before we talk about that.
We all love giving guidance, but we're not sure what direction to go with that comment.
Yeah.
I've got to head out for the night.
What?
Oh well, so just gotta take care of her.
All right. Well, it was good that you made it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks.
Yeah.
Tell
I'll
Heather
also
we
say
hi to me,
goodbye
better.
to Mr. Orc and Mr. Stranger.
Yeah. Goodbye.
See you, buddy. Tell Heather we said hi.
Yeah, I hope she feels better.
Thanks. See y'all.
Bye.
So no Sploob tonight.
I guess not. Oh, Spoob never said they were going to make it. It was Raiden that was 50-50.
Oh, right. That son of a bitch.
I need to get Raiden and Splood to get on so we can do the tier list. Because they're the ones that are more informed and have more opinions on classes than I do. Critias may have a lot of opinions and stuff on tier rankings of classes as well. So I'd like to have Critias on for that.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down. I have some opinions on a lot of the classes. Most of them I think are just opinions that other people have too, though. I don't think I'm very far from, like, I don't think I have any hot takes, I guess.
Well, you better get some because you're going to be a sword knight of the battle. Or you're going to be a sword knight
of the
and knight of
sword
the battle.
battle.
Sword
Knight
battle.
of the sword battle.
Sword battle knight.
Battle sword. Battle sword.
Let me guess. Monk is S tier.
No, actually, I think Monk is. I don't think it's I don't think it's really bad, but I don't think it's really good. The issue is that you can't have armor and you don't have a shield. When people see that, they're probably going to be like, "Oh, this like has no sustainability. You know, you're going to die a lot." That's the point of the V8 though, is that you're supposed to be team based. Like you're supposed to have teammates or stuff. So no, a monk's not going to do well on their own like some other classes might. But they're also some of the best counters to casters. So like you just gotta like find that like where does this class fit in type of thing. And I think a lot of people don't have the patience to do that. And then they see like something that's not I don't know. I want to say more like newbie friendly because like with monk I think you do need to have at least some skill with any weapon set that it can use. Otherwise you are going to die a lot because you don't have armor. You don't have no mistakes that you can make. But because of that, I think people think it's a worse class than it is. I have heard our kingdom, I think, thinks it's a bad class, but I've heard other kingdoms think it's an overpowered class. So if that's what's happening,
surprising.
right? If that's what's happening, I think it's probably where it should be. Like, there's probably nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I
We
always
always
thought it
make
was
jokes
pretty.
up here. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's it. I always thought it was pretty powerful because you get to ignore some of the most powerful things in the game. I mean, it's you get to ignore verbals, and that's huge.
Yeah.
There, there's exceptions though. Like even with like so with monk, like you get to block arrows, like except for some because they have like phase arrows, and I think they have like ways to get around it. But
Yeah.
like we make jokes up here that monk is for like all the old school Amtgarders who don't want to learn the newer rules because you get to ignore most of the magic. We've actually started steering new players away from it because like we don't want to put them in a situation where they don't have to learn the casting and stuff like that. So it's like we'll be like, hey, play like assassin or something like that, where you can remove yourself from battle, but you still have to pay attention to all the different and really learn all the different like magics and stuff like that. But
That's
yeah,
funny. I did the exact opposite of that. I started as monk, and that's how I learned the spell. Because I would watch them be cast on other people. I'm like, okay, that's what that does.
I I respect that. I can't. I personally like wasn't learning anything because I'm just because of the way I learn. Like if I'm not affected by it, I was just kind of tuning it out, and so like I had to be like cast on and had be forced to be like, hey, what does that do? In order to like really figure it out.
Yeah,
I think
everybody learns differently. So yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I think if I was to inform a newbie, like I was definitely in the camp of monk is the class for the newbie. I think that I take more of a balanced approach. Like for the first few practices, I think monk would be a good class because they get to go out there and they get to have more longevity because casters are, at least in our area, pretty prevalent. And so if the first couple days you just go out and have fun, they're able to swing stick. They don't have to worry about what did that person yell at me for the first couple days and to find out they like it. And then I think you've given me a convincing argument that after our first couple weeks, then I would suggest maybe you should start playing a different class to learn the other things. Because I think that's valid. It's a good take.
We've started kind of in at Inland Ocean, at least not Northern Lights, but um because like you mentioned, V8's a little bit more like team based, where your class's utility is if not dependent on, at least enhanced by other classes and how they're
mhm.
played. We started doing because I don't know about you guys down there, but for us it was always like, okay, put on your class gear, then we're gonna like pick teams, and then once the teams are picked, we'll explain the game, which sort of put you in positions where you've now picked a team, but you don't know what the rules are. So it's like, what will you be using to base your picks on? So now what we're trying to do is we explain the rules to everyone, then pick teams, and then the teams can break off and go decide what class each person's going to play. So you can like make plans to work together and stuff like that if you want to. It doesn't always, because some people are like, well, this is a class I'm playing, which is fine, but like other people would be like, well, what class do we need? And it kind of we're trying to see if it kind of like promotes more teamwork and stuff like that.
I
I
think
think
that's huge. Like, I don't. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know. Do you realize how big of a like enhancement to the game that is? Like,
It's
that's
huge, man.
huge.
It's yeah, it's Talius brought it down because apparently that's how they do it in Alaska. So yeah, he's like, why don't we do this? I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah. There's been so many times where I'm like, I want to play this class, and then I get picked on a team, and my team is obviously lacking this one thing it needs, and it's like, well, if I'd have known, what was going on, what game we were doing, and what other teammates I had, I would have just filled that spot, type of thing. It's happened so many times, I get so frustrated.
Dude, take this to your park. Try it out. Let me know how it goes.
I think I will. It sounds really cool.
yeah, champion
Yeah.
Critias.
Champion
I
Critias.
yeah.
Not for a
Um,
while.
when I think I was champion at the time. I don't remember if I was champion or I was running games, anyways, and this is pre-pandemic, and I didn't do exactly what you did, but I did like pick your classes, line up. This is the game we're playing. you have 5 minutes to make your spell list after the teams are made. So like for spell lists and stuff, I allowed to be modular and kind of change the team. Because like if you're on a team full of barbarians and you summon a druid, you're screwed. You're not gonna have a good time.
Yep.
I'm just it's not fair. So
Yeah, totally.
that worked pretty well, and I think people liked it. I think um, I would prefer in your instance that you're talking about, Ormus, that you would explain the game, then people pick their classes, then you pick the team, then you pick your spell list. A little bit more complicated, but I think it makes it more balanced because if you let people pick their class after you've divvied up the teams, then you haven't balanced the teams for class. And I think that might make it a little bit more difficult to keep it balanced.
I see what you're saying. I just think with our current rule set, it's not as important to pick class for class anymore because of the fact that it's not necessarily. I don't know. When I'm picking teams, I'm picking the player. Because like the classes, they say some of them sort of counteract each other or whatever. Um, but I'm more interested in like that player's better at Amtgard than other players, or that player's more motivated than other players. Like, because I've had people like, oh, I want Oramus on my team. I'm like, that's a terrible idea. I don't give a shit about this game. Like, I'm not gonna be running. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like having one of those days or whatever. It's like it's I'm not putting a whole bunch of effort in. This is a terrible pick. I'm sorry. And so I would end up being put against like some good battle gamer. It's like, oh, you guys are boned. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or like they'd be like, oh, he swings his sword really fast. I want him on my team. I'm like, terrible choice. Like, but yeah, so it's like there's so many other things to look at besides just class. I think it can still like function well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, well, especially at the land level, it's harder to do it at the kingdom level. But to choose, take player skill and aptitude in battle games into account as well as class, for sure.
This might be a super like unpopular jaded opinion, but I think if you are at the kingdom level, at least like mostly with like campouts, like KLEs are one thing, but like at campouts, like balancing a team is an impossible task. Like it's probably going to end up being overbalanced on one side. It doesn't have to be a huge overbalance, but like once the game gets started, it's almost always like, oh yeah, we're getting destroyed. You know what I mean? And it's kind of just how it goes. I wouldn't worry. I personally don't worry too much at kingdom level events about balance. I'm like, I'm just gonna do my thing.
I would still try, but I'd care less. You're right.
Oh, I'm not saying sorry. I'm not saying don't try to balance. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
expecting the final result to be balanced is different than making the effort. I guess is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Like you should try. Like you should always try to have a good game and try to have it balanced. But it's you're fighting a losing battle for sure as a
Yeah.
Reeve.
There's been
So
some where I've been in where they're really well
I'll be right
balanced,
back.
but I think it's just literally random on when it happens. Like everyone obviously tries, and there's some really great points that are made when they're balancing, but like there's so many factors that you don't know as a person that's picking teams. Like you said, like there's some days you just don't want to try super hard, you just want to go have fun. There's plenty of people like that, and maybe they're some of the better battle gamers, but they're just not in it today. You can't account for that type of stuff, or
Yeah,
anything like that. So every game that I've been in that's been balanced, I've been legitimately surprised because I'm like, wow, this is back and forth. Actually, I did not expect this. But yeah, I
yeah,
really do think it's just because of those like outside things that happen with people sometimes. And then I've been in games where it's like, okay, we're gonna switch this guy, and that changed everything. Like it went from being so one-sided to actually back and forth type of thing. So I think there's some people that have like they have the ability to balance it if everything was like set in stone, if that makes sense. Like if this person was always this way, always doing this, then it would be so much easier to balance than if that person's not going to be as good because they're having a bad day or something like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes too, what someone can do to like balance a team is like organization or leadership.
Mhm.
Like, because a lot of times you'll have. I feel like if you're in a game where there's like 30 people on each side, which wizard you put on which side doesn't change the flow of the battle. But like what does is like having people who are like keeping your team like on task and like focus on the objective or do this, do that, like leaders and like organizers and stuff like that. So if like you could balance those people out, I think that's when you really get a good balanced flowing game at the kingdom level.
Yeah, there was this War Master I was in where I picked one of the teams and like I got some good picks. The other side got some good picks, you know. But when we started, I'm like, okay, this actually seems like it's going to be pretty fair, you know. I mean, we are fighting for the War Master title, but whatever. I want everyone to have fun. And then we got going, and because Odin was on my team, and he's like, hey, I want to try where we do like teams of 3, and we each take certain objectives because it was like a multiple objective thing. And I'm like, sure, why not? Let's try that. I did nothing that game, and we won like easy. I I
Nice.
I just walked around. I'm like, what do I do? Everything's getting done for me. But
That's
like,
a sign of a good leader, though.
yeah, yeah, like
Honestly, yeah.
I was super impressed by that because I'm like I didn't think it wasn't going to work, but I also didn't think it would change much. But I think because we did that, like we had like death squads, you know, going out and like this squad can take care of this specific group and they can do it fine without like losing too much. But yeah, it was cool. It was really fun to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's always been one of Odin's strong points is like in battle games, like because he's historically like back in the Templar days, he was always like the jugging coach, and like he did a lot of the organizing of the battle games, stuff like that, as far as like who's like if there's going to be a company battle, like who's doing what. So he's always been good for that for sure. He's got a kind of a mind for that.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm more of like, okay, let's play the first round, see what happens, and then we'll kind of strategize from there. He's just like, nah, we're doing this, and it works.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Of like at the very beginning when everyone's lining up, they're like, "What's our plan?" I'm like, "What do you mean plan? We haven't even
Yeah.
started yet."
Like
Yeah.
I can't put a plan if I don't know anything about how this battle's gonna go down. Like, I mean, I could, but the chances of it working aren't very high, so why bother, type of thing.
Right. Is your wife playing Pokemon right now?
She, I think so. Are you playing Pokemon? Yes. Yes, she is.
Nice. I helped her out in the chat with what's super effective against flying types.
Yeah, they asked Critias or whoever what Pokemon type is good against flying. Blade of the East, which I'm assuming is Ormus,
That's
said
me, yeah.
electric. Yeah, I don't have any idea.
I mean, you're right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I definitely I play quite a bit of Pokemon. So it's funny story. My son, he's 8 years old, and he got 4 Pokemon cards as prizes in like his first grade class. Like his teacher gave him out like random for being good. And he only ever had these 4 cards for like 6 months. And then all of a sudden he starts coming home and he's got more and more cards. And I'm like, buddy, where are you getting these cards from? And he's like, oh, I traded for them on the bus. And so I'm like talking to Veronica, I was like, is he just like fleecing these kids on the bus for all these fucking cards? And he just ended up with a bunch of them. So we ended up like, he got really into collecting them. So we were like, okay, so he wants to collect cards. Like, cool, we'll buy him some cards. And then he's like, I want to play the actual game. So we bought like pre-made decks so we could play against him. So he had someone to play against. And then I was like, hey, hey, Gwen, you know what we should do? If we start collecting our own cards, we can trade with him. So he gets the whole experience. You know what I mean? It's turned into everyone being way too obsessed with Pokemon cards. Like this Christmas, there had to have been like 30 or 40 like booster packs being handed around and opened up, and like we're all showing each other what cards we got, and I was like, this is, and as one who is too into it now for sure, like it's gotten ridiculous. And like now, like Gwyn bought me like the new one of the new Pokemon Switch games and stuff like that. So it's been all Pokemon all the time here for like 3 months.
Nice.
I'm sure Leon loves that.
Oh yeah, we found like there's a card shop every Tuesday. They do like Pokemon trading card night, and yeah.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun to like. It's fun because like for me, like it's like Pokemon kind of started when I was like the perfect age for it. Because I remember getting like the original Pokemon games and stuff when I was like 9 or 10. So it's like super nostalgic, but then also like you want to, when your kid has like a, oh, I'm interested in this, you're like, all right, well, let's see where it goes, and like you want to kind of foster that. So that's been fun.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
I don't want to do math. What year were you born?
I was born in 1988.
Okay.
That's the face he makes when he realizes, like, holy shit, Ormus is old.
I don't know. Like, I just didn't expect, like, for some reason, if someone tells me I was born in the 80s, I just imagine them being way older than what you are, I guess.
Well,
I
to
don't
be
know.
fair, it was the very end of the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't ever, like, people is like, oh, I'm an 80s baby. I'm like, I was there for 2 years. I don't count myself as an 80s baby at all.
No, you're a 90s kid.
Yeah.
What did you need?
She's got another Pokemon question.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Oh, she wants to do exactly what you guys did, but with our baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
That'd be
blast,
fun.
man, honestly.
And then she said we'll have our kids trade at some point.
Yeah, man.
That'd be
I'll
fun.
we should do a play date for sure. You have a daughter?
Hmm. Yeah,
She's 3?
two, almost
2,
two.
okay, yeah. Yeah. Leon's 8, but man, he loves playing with the younger kids for sure.
I have a 7-year-old nephew that comes out every other weekend, and she loves playing with him. She just follows him everywhere he goes.
Nice.
So Sean says, 80s, baby. I remember playing Amtgard in the 80s. I don't. Oh, Ormus disappeared. Oh no. But it's wild that
Ugh.
do I have to reset the thing?
Probably. Apparently, if you
Yeah.
hit enter instead of shift, because I have like push to talk on, and I press the
Oh.
shift key. Apparently, if you hit enter instead, it like stops the video.
Oh, well, shitty. It's wild that Amtgard is as old as I am, because if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, Amtgard started in 83. I was born in 83, so Amtgard is as old as me, so it was impossible for me to have played at the early days of Amtgard. I started somewhere in the middle. But yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh, well,
83 is what I heard. Yeah.
well, mid to late 80s is still 80s, Sean, for sure.
Sean, what's your Amtgard name?
Uh, and Kingdom, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good clarification. That's right. You're this is a national brand you got here. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's sorry. That's one of the cool things about switching to YouTube is that I open it up to more of the people that have been watching the YouTube videos from around the United States. So that was one of the things coming to YouTube, is to get a broader audience, a bigger audience, to get more perspective, and to get a more well-rounded chat. Not. I mean, I loved having a bunch of people. Oh yeah, I'm 53. Neas, Wells Drake, Bernie Lands.
I've heard the name
Nice.
before.
Welcome to
Pretty
chat.
sure.
I appreciate you jumping in.
Now I'm
Because
not going to be
normally
able to sleep until I look them up on Amped Wiki.
oh, I love the Amp Wiki. I wish more people would use it and keep it updated. I try to keep I make sure I keep mine updated. When something happens, I keep it updated. But no, it's nice that we have a bigger, broader audience, because normally we just have people from the Northwest. Because, I mean, one, that's where I share the channels to. And two, I guess that's where I share the channels to. And with it being on YouTube, it's shared to more people. So, yeah. Are you looking them up now?
Oh yeah, I'm already there. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So apparently
Sean says,
it's impressive. They're credited on their wiki with being one of the people who invented flat blades. That's
oh,
old school.
nice. Yeah, that's a while ago. Of course, I've heard someone else invented flat blades, but I'm not going to call them out because it's a joke. But anyways.
Is it Cow Dog?
No.
Oh.
Someone that currently plays. Sean says, yeah, my wiki is nice but underdeveloped. Also, he loves my videos. Thank you. Also, you need to get in touch with Derek Roth. Yeah, he's active on Facebook. I don't know if there's any other way to get a hold of him. But
That's
yeah.
my guy. Yeah. He when I was doing my Squire's trial for my Squire, he came in and was really helpful and put in a lot of fights and gave her some tips and put in a lot of time. It was cool.
He's good people. What do you think of Derek Roth, Critias?
I don't know him very well.
That's fair.
From what I've heard, he's a good person.
He's worth spending some time with, I think, if you get a chance to talk with him. The Claw Legion is being reborn? Wow.
What? Is it gonna? Wait a minute.
That is an old school name if I've ever heard one. I haven't heard of them for a long time.
Are they already
planning?
Are they already planning for their eventual Archon breakoff, or like is that not in the plans? I don't know anything about the story. I just know the history that it happened. So don't
I know
don't get
most
too
of the
mad.
name.
Don't get too mad at my joke here.
That was a long time ago. I don't even remember when they were around anymore. Well before Critias' age.
We've got a guy in Northern Lights who used to be in Claw. Back then, his name was Duncan. He goes by Calton now.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a sword knight up here.
You should introduce me sometime.
I bet you know him. I bet you. I would wager money that you know who he is. But
I am flipping you a ton of shit.
Oh. Well, fuck. I did not even catch it. That's my bad.
Oh, how would I not know him?
I don't know. He doesn't go to a lot of events though, honestly. But that's recent. That's not in the first like 300 years of his career. So
yeah. And apparently, without Aramithris, it'll be smooth sailing, according to Sean.
But then who's gonna bring all the Franzia?
Sean, someone will love to take that spot, I'm sure.
Does that even still exist? Can you still buy wine in a box? Like, is that?
I'm sure you can find wine in a box. Sorry, I gotta Newton filed. I remember meeting Naeus at 10 years of 10 year of clan. He was very fun to fight. That's cool. Sean says I spent some time playing SCA, so I was out of touch in Amtgard from around late '90s to mid 2000s. Yeah, there's a
Baelnorn,
lot of.
oh, sorry. No, go ahead. I'm going to be way off topic, so finish what you were saying.
I was just. I was just gonna say there's a lot of people that switch from Amtgard to SCA to sometimes back to Amtgard after they get a little too old to do heavy fighting. Seems to be a pattern at least up here. But
Yeah, Dogboy's stepping up as king of Vontier tomorrow.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
great.
really? I thought he was
Crazy.
already king.
So when you win crown, you spend about 3 months as crown prince, which you're kind of like learning the office, and then you step into the office for 6 months after that.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
Yup. So there's like a longer time between like crown tournament to actual stepping up, and then continuing on. Yeah,
What are the
which makes sense.
responsibility?
Uh, you know, I've talked to him a ton. I couldn't tell you too much though. Like it's uh there's because of the sheer number of people, like just handling like who's getting what awards is a massive ordeal. Cause like they have thousands of players that they're getting like award recommendations for and stuff like that. Um like they're talking like, dude, it's crazy. They're talking like 7 hour long court and stuff like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's dude, that sounds like literal hell to me. But um but yeah, I know that they're in charge of like the things I know for sure they're in charge of is awards, elevation to peerage. The king gets to dictate the crown tournament and stuff like that. But beyond that, I have no idea. I'm sure there's a ton to it, but yeah.
Yeah, Sean was just saying he's just coming back to Amtgard on the regular. Their spine can't take wearing a helm slash armor. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. You just get older and you just can't have you fight as much as you'd like. So Amtgard is a good retirement place, I guess you could say. I mean, I haven't been to SCA very. I haven't been to SCA. I've been to one practice and I've done heavy fighting once, but I don't know what the culture is outside of fighting in SCA.
I did like maybe like 6 months of heavy fighting on a regular basis. But it was all practices. I never made it to an event at that point. And then that was like probably, oh, that's probably about like 10 years ago now. That hurts to say, but and then more recently in the last few years, I've been to like there's a tournament up here called Ursulmis. That's a really big tournament, and got to see a little bit of it, like a little bit more of an event versus just like a normal practice, and it's pretty wild, but it's a lot of fun.
Have you thought about SCA much, Critias?
I probably won't ever do it just because like it's so hard on your body and stuff that I don't. And I'm already accident prone as is. I don't want to mess myself up super bad.
Sean is saying court can be bad, especially at big events with multiple kingdoms showing up. I can believe it. I mean, it can be bad in or Amtgard. Luckily, we don't usually have cross courts. It's very rare in the Northwest, anyways. I think we've only had a few in my history when there's been joint events like joint pack war or something like that.
So NLCC always falls within a week or two of Pack War. Sometimes like we had to plan around like not landing on the same weekend. I think we should turn Pack War into a maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say like because it sounds like I'm trying to take Pack War away from Blackspire, but like we should turn it into a joint Kingdom event where like one year Northern Lights has their court on Friday and then Black Spire has their court on Saturday. And then next year it's like flipped and we could even like bounce back and forth geographically or whatnot and kind of just like make it a joint event because it's the biggest event for both kingdoms for the year. If I were to guess, uh, Northern Lights coronation camp out in spring gets probably. I want to say last year they got almost 200 people, but like it's a lot of Northern Lights that travels to Packmore and stuff too. And I think if we had it jumping back and forth and turned it into like a joint thing, I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, that's the last time we had a joint back where was Longview, and while there was a lot of political bickering about it and a lot of hearsay and stuff like that, I think the majority of people had a good time and enjoyed it. So I think we should do that. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you think, Cradius? You're the newer person here.
The last one, the one in Longview was the one like in the horse arena. Was that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that was my first pack war. And that I think has so far been my favorite. So I mean, if it's like that, then yeah, I think it's a good idea.
yeah. I don't even know how to go about getting people to do that. It's so ingrained as Black Spire, and there's so many people that have horses in the race. I guess you could say that it might be difficult to get done on a regular basis.
The I think another like alternative could be like because if Black Spire sees it as giving up one of their main event, like if we come up with some sort of like inter kingdom event in like the summertime, like say like June area, like late June or something like that, could be an area
Mm.
where we don't have because we have comic campouts in spring and fall. There's not a ton, I don't think, right in the middle. Yeah, my nose is bleeding again. Sorry.
Oh no.
Um, so like I think that could be like a window where we could do something like that, where like we have some sort of cooperative like kingdom event. It might be easier to make a new one than try to transition one into a joint event.
That's probably true.
So Sean's talking about some SCA events in chat. One of the early Australia Wars in Arizona I went to, we took some old Amtgardians for their first time. They were impressed with the scope, spending 25K on porta potties, budget alone. Yeah, SCA events are so much larger than Amtgard events. I mean, most of them, anyways. Like especially in the Northwest, SCA events are much bigger than anything that we have at Amtgard events. It's insane. I haven't been to any of them, but I heard tales. Even my local chapter of SCA does something called Acorn Wars, and it gets a couple hundred people, and that's just like a couple counties of people, and people travel to it. But it's a local SCA event. I don't know if they still hold it or not.
Well, like they from a geographic standpoint, their kingdoms are massive because like Ontario spreads from uh it's like all of Oregon, Idaho, Washington, and then like British Columbia. So like all the way up into Canada, like and they've got so many people just in the kingdom, and so like they'll travel all through there for their events, and yeah, it's a whole different experience for sure.
Yeah, in Amtgard Northwest, even in Amtgard in the Northwest, people don't travel like other Amtgard events. Other outside of or Northwest, people in like Texas travel forever to go to events. We don't do that here. We're tightly packed and not travel, and we don't travel very much. Sean agrees it's a good idea on the pack war thing. So, speaking of traveling, when was the last time you went up north, Critius?
Um, on my way back from, I think it was it SKBC that we went to that practice on our way back, or was that something else? Okay, that was something I don't remember. It wasn't super long ago. It was during the summer, I think, of when I went to like fighter practice for them. I can't remember the holding.
You came
Uh,
up to Greenwood Keep, right? at one point?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like in like the Lacey area.
Probably. I don't know. My memory is uh, absolutely awful.
I'm
It's
not great with
been
dates
a
either.
little bit too long, honestly. I should go up there more. I just hate driving. And your guys' roads suck. They're awful.
Whoa, 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 whoa. In general, our speed limits are higher though, so
That is
we still
true.
win.
But you
We
got
So when you
still.
hit a
no, no. Just, if I'm going 70 and I hit a pothole on the highway, I'm not happy.
yeah.
That's fair.
I might be up there in August, in the Seattle area, because Minerva's going on a cruise, possibly.
Well, that sounds fun.
I don't do
Let
boats.
us.
Mm.
If you need somewhere to crash, let me know.
All right.
We just have an apartment, but we got enough room for a person to sleep. So, uh, so just Minerva's going on a cruise. You're not going to go with?
Her sister, her two sisters, and possibly my mom. I don't know if she's still thinking about going, but yeah, I told her I'm like, I'm not gonna go on a cruise ever. I have very bad fear of ocean waters stuff. So
That's
yeah,
fair.
I told her if she's gonna go, like go, but I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah, we live like maybe if there's no traffic, about 25 minutes north of Seattle. But if there's, I mean, saying if there's no traffic is pretty much never. So
And they have the best dog.
we do have a cute dog. Yeah,
I'm
Very
sold.
cuddly.
she's a menace. Honestly, she jumps on people and she's super crazy. She loves to cuddle, but like to the point where it's like assault, where she'll like come running in and just like jam her head in to like nuzzle you, but like it's gonna knock you out because it's like the top of her head just coming in screaming. Because I don't think she realizes that she's big now. She thinks she's still like a little puppy, and she's like a 55-pound dog.
We have a German Shepherd that's pretty big now, and he's so like active and just wants attention, and he's all over the place. There's been multiple times where I'm walking and he'll run and just hit the back of my leg, and it just like crumples me, dude. It's awful.
Do you
That's
think
the
you're gonna go
best.
to NLCC spring, Critias?
Um, when is that?
The weekend of the 25th in
Yeah, it's like
March.
the last weekend of March.
I mean, it's possible. It's hard for me to know with it being that far out, but it's not. As far as I know, there's nothing around that time that I would need to be at. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. And I want to go to one. Like I've been wanting to for a while now. I just haven't been able to make it up.
I don't make a big
Well,
deal about it, but it's also my birthday weekend.
Okay.
it's down. Uh, it's at
Well,
Panhandle Lake Park again, so it's the same spot we've had it the last couple of years. It's pretty far
SKBC.
south. Yeah, it's the same site as KBC was at, so it's not crazy far north.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
think
it's only like 2.5 hours or something from me.
That's funny because it's the same for me.
it's more like 3.5.
I don't know the actual like time frame because when I went up to SKBC, traffic hit and it was an extra like 3 hours that I just sat there. So
Oof.
I'm like,
Ugh.
I was not happy. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there was an.
I go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying there was an accident south of Longview, so I took the gorge route up to the south of the Columbia River and went up through Longview, and I ended up going above the accident. So it's longer if there's no accident, but I managed to avoid it, so I didn't have to sit in traffic for 3 hours.
You're lucky.
Sean, no, not Spring War. Northern Lights Coronation Campout. It's put on by Northern Lights in Washington. It's kind of by Aberdeen, I think is the closest place, maybe Olympia.
Uh, Technically, the closest city is like Shelton, but nobody's ever heard of Shelton
Right,
Washington
right.
before, so it's pretty close to Olympia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Springmore, it's kind of funny because me and my wife have been like not every year, but like having to alternate back and forth because with the kid, like it's hard to like for both of us to go to an event that's far away. So yeah, one year I got to go, and then like I think it might have been 2 years later because the COVID hit after that. But then after COVID, Veronica went down, and I stayed home. Like it was kind of just going back and forth.
I would like to hit a spring war. I haven't traveled very much outside of the Northwest. I've gone to Feast of Mars is the only event I've gone to outside of the Northwest. That's just in California.
Yes, Spring War was fun. There's lots of fighting, lots of battle games. I just kicked it with the torches the whole time because I like already had a connection with them. So I didn't. I
Yeah.
went down there and like I didn't know anyone. So I was like, oh, it's like walking around. I was like, I gotta make a friend because this is terrible. And then I saw Arthon. I was like, oh, I know him. He doesn't know me for sure, but I know him.
Yeah.
So I went and I was like, "Hey, Arthon, how's it going?" He's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Hey, I'm Dogboy Squire." He's like, "Oh no shit! Like, come on, let's go hang out." So I was like, "All right, cool." Like, so that was my in.
So are you going next year, or is Veronica going next year? No, she went last year. Oh, the camera died. He's dead.
Damn it! I swear to God, that was the wrong damn button.
Sponge is
Uh
good people.
oh yeah, Sponge
Sean's
came up
shutting out
to
Sponge.
yeah he came up to IO a couple
Oh
weeks
wow,
ago. Yeah, just like randomly.
that is random.
Yeah, it was like a smaller park day and like my son like came over because so my son he's grown up. None of our friends have kids, so it's like he's only grown up with other adults. The one downside to that is that he's just used to going up and talking to adults. There's no like he's doesn't have enough of like the whole stranger danger thing. But he just like went up to Sponge while Sponge was like talking to us and wanted to show him the video game he was playing. And so Sponge was sitting there like talking to him about Minecraft. And then and then Leon was like, "You want to fight me?" And Sponge was like, "Okay." And so then they go out to the field and sparred for a little bit.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it was super fun. Funny. Sponge is a good guy for sure.
So are you thinking about going to Springmore next year? Well, I guess this year.
This coming year, probably not, because
Hmm.
like I just started a new job this year, so like I'm still having to save up PTO and stuff like that. Veronica's going to Costa Rica at the end of the month
Hmm.
for like a work trip, but it's and then there's NLCC and stuff like that. So I don't think it's in the cards this year. We
Well,
talked
if you
about
make it,
trying to hit keep.
yeah. I'd like to travel more, but I really have like some anxieties about going solo to big events. So like if I can get a buddy to go with me, I'll tag along to any of my friends if I can afford it to any of these big events outside of the Northwest.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the
So
loop for sure.
all right.
We love to get out there and travel if we can. I might try to I probably end up being driving, but a guy that I know from way back in the day in Stormhaven is getting knighted in Desert Winds. I think that's Memorial Day weekend. I have to kind of look and see when that is. I have no idea. Yeah,
Well, you got some time.
but I think that's in like Utah or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's well. You go to Evermore, the LARP or theme park. It's
I have
not
no idea
good.
what. Oh dang! I was like, I have no idea what that is, but that sounds great.
It's I watched a multiple hour long video on this topic. Basically, it was this huge like Disney level Hollywood adventure park that was gonna have rides and themes and stuff all around LARP and fantasy and stuff like that. And then when it actually came out, it turned into more of a themed garden with some LARP or aspects. So it was not great. I mean, if you're in the
Yikes.
area, it might be worth a couple hours of your time to go look at a garden, but no, it's not a great place to go. It was more of a joke.
I've seen flowers before. I want to go on rides like that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Sean says, Gathering of the Clans, keep for me next year, plus anything around St. Louis. Nice. You're a bit more well traveled than I when it comes to Amtgard, anyways.
I got to go to one clan in 2012 when Northern Lights got its kingdom status, so that was cool. It was a lot of fun, but it definitely a large. I want to say it was Friday, like almost the entire day was like this torrential downpour, like rain to the point where like you couldn't tell who was like 10 feet in front of you. It was
Oof,
wild.
that sounds terrible.
But Saturday was beautiful, so
Oh, evens out.
yeah.
So, Critias, I know personally we've talked about you traveling more to broaden your fighting experience. We were mostly talking about Northern Lights, but we've talked about Keep and you going to Keep into what was the other event? Oh, SKBC up in Tennessee. Do you have any other places outside of the Northwest that you'd like to travel to?
Um, I don't really know a lot of like. I'd have to like look them up and stuff, but like I'm just wanting to go to like pretty much anywhere at this point.
Mm.
I just want to go to one of like the really big events.
No, I would keep in mind Feast of Mars. They call it other things too, but basically Feast of Mars. It's down in California. It's one of their bigger events, and it's not too far. You could drive to it. I flew to it, but Raiden, uh, Talius, he drove to it. It's like a 20-hour, 15-hour drive, I think. But and I think it'd be worth going to. A lot of people outside of California go to it too, so it's another event where you can get some more exposure. I think.
Yeah.
When I went,
Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to go on my tales of when I visited. I'd like to get your opinion.
I mean, I'm down for that. I just, like I said, I gotta make sure I plan it out to where I have the funds for it, time for it, and the mental capacity to either drive there or figure out how to live on a plane.
Yeah, that's a lot. Um,
I think it might not be the hardest thing, but like one of the hardest things about having a kid in general, like with friends that don't have kids, is like communicating to them like there's no more last minute. You know what I mean? Like almost everything has to be like planned out weeks ahead of time or months ahead of time, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Because that's something I've had to like. Obviously, like we've all had, like all parents have had to adjust to that. But for sure, it's like people be like, "Hey, let's go do this." I'm not saying that Baylor and you're doing this because you're not at all, because this is way ahead of time. But like, I've had some of my friends be like, "Hey, let's go to the bar." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool, when?" Like, "Oh, right now." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's not happening." Like this, like maybe
I
tomorrow,
don't.
maybe next week. Like,
Yeah, I don't have any friends that are spontaneous enough nowadays to really do that. Anyways, but I like to plan myself out because I like to know what something to look forward to. Over the weeks or months. I
that
don't have a
makes
kid
sense.
or anything, but I'm all
No,
for
still like,
planning.
yeah.
Minerva just told me if she's gonna be married to the best, I have to actually be the best. So I got to figure out what I'm doing.
Oh shit.
Damn, that's pressure.
Yeah, right?
uh, Sean says SKBC yes. Traveling is the only way to broaden your knowledge. You are only as good as the people around you.
I agree.
That's very
Yeah.
true. The ha- have you ever done a meat grinder, Critias?
When we first started, it was actually pretty common, and then it just kind of died off. But yeah,
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. I wasn't very good at that point, but like I still had fun.
How do you
So
define
for,
a meat grinder?
hmm?
Sorry, what's your definition of a grinder?
So everyone gets in a circle. Everyone has a number. And then you have one or maybe two people that are callers, and like they'll call it numbers. They'll say like everyone that's even number, go in and fight. Everyone that has like a blue shirt, go in and fight. Everyone that's fighting single sword, go in and fight, and stuff like that. And then everyone on the outside, they can do two things. Depends on the game. They either just stand there, or they can hit without moving their feet. They can hit whoever comes near them and kill them. And that's just depends on who's running the game.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Meat Grinder. Have you not played them?
We had a version of that we called Caesar's Circus.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was the same thing.
Yeah, so I mean, Feast. I was going to go into this. They had a really fun event at Feast of Mars, or Feast of Odin, depending on who's running at the time. They changed up the god name, but basically it's a giant meat grinder. But you have teams, and they are color coded, and they'd call in like certain combinations, and everyone would go in. So it was like a gladiator faction based meat grinder, and it was really interesting. It was like it's their main. It was at the time their main event. I don't know if that's still their main battle game of the day. It's not class based, but their main event of the day. It was pretty cool to watch. They did some interesting things. It wasn't just a straight meat grinder. It was an adaptation of the meat grinder, but it was very interesting. I have
That's
no
cool.
idea where it started.
Did you guys so whenever we did Caesar Circus, we would take like equipment, and like everyone had a single short sword, but we would put a whole bunch of equipment in the middle of the field. So like you had to try and like fight your way into the middle to pick up a shield or another sword or something. And if you got enough kills in a row, the person calling the names we called Caesar, like that was Caesar Circus. They were the ones calling everything out. They would give like, oh, like, if you get like 3 or 5 kills in a row without dying, to be like, oh, you have 1 point of like protect or something like that. I think it's called blessing against wounds now. I don't know if they have protect anymore, but stuff like that, where it's like you get bonuses for winning. It's kind of fun.
No, we didn't really do anything like that.
There was one point where it was only for like one reign where we were doing this game called I don't really remember, something to do with the Hunger Games, I think, and it was basically just that. We just had a bunch of weapons in the middle, and then people started in a big circle with I think a single sword, and then like you would call go, and then everybody just goes in, and whoever comes out last is the winner.
Nice.
Nice. Sean's asking, do any of us cross game Bell Dag? I have gone to Bell events. I've gone to Western Wars a couple times. I haven't gone to any of the practices. So I would say I'm familiar with and have gone to, but I wouldn't call myself a cross gamer. Although I guess I've played in Bell, so it's up to you if you wanted to define me as a cross gamer or not.
I've played by Bell rules before. I've never gone to an actual realm. Like when I was at KBC, they did during the day it was Amtgard rules, and at night it was Bell rules that year. So we did a lot of Bell stuff, but uh, yeah, I've never been to like a Bellegarth park. I've got a lot of friends who are Bell, for sure, but like Moses is really close to, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been to one Western Wars, and that was it. It was a lot of fun. I want to go back. I just haven't been.
The nightlife is good. I don't know. Did you just day trip that SKBC?
I was there
And
for
not SKBC, Western Wars.
I was there for a little bit during the night, but yeah, most of it was just a day trip. I didn't spend overnight, and I wasn't there super late. I think once it got like too dark to see is probably when I left.
Was that the one where Nick dislocated his shoulder and had to go to the hospital?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yikes.
He was back by the end of the night. He was having a good time. Tried to get him to drink, and he's like, "I'm in Viking, and I'm not doing that." So he didn't. But I tried really hard. Stole goose sauce liquor. It was great. Lost the cap. They had a gambling facility, kind of like a Cormac's tavern that he does, but it was gambling based, and there was a bunch of people doing mixed drinks of various types. It was pretty cool. and that was free, and you could just sit and gamble, and it was great. I didn't gamble, but I got the free drinks.
Nice. Sean asked if we feel the fighting is similar between the three games. From what I've seen, like a good Amtgarder can still be good in Bell. Just anything like an Amtgard where it's like you stop to talk about it, it probably just doesn't count. Like that's kind of just the vibe I've gotten. Like the stuff that's questionable in Amtgard is a no go for the rest of them.
I've
That's a.
had. Go ahead. You're the
I was
fighter
gonna
here.
say that's pretty much. I've only had like the 1 day of experience, but that's basically exactly what I felt too. Like I was super afraid I was gonna be like wrong about everything, and then they're just like, nah, man, like just it's very simple.
Yeah.
And like throughout the whole day, that's pretty much what I noticed. It's like a clean shot is a clean kill. Anything other than that is probably not gonna go, which I'm fine with that. I had a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
I don't know too much about DAG, but with the Bell and Amtgard similarities, basically, force matters a little bit more in Bell, but and the weight of the weapon has to be a little bit higher than we do in Amtgard. But the mechanics are the same. Grappling, while allowed in Bell, is not very common. I didn't see it very often. So yeah, they're it's easy to cross over between Bell and Amtgard and to make the adjustments. And I think there was a time in Blackspire when like Alexi, and I think it was big when Alexi. I don't know. Did you meet Alexi? Critias, short little
Hmm.
buff
He,
man.
w- yeah, I saw him a few times. I think he came out and almost won one of our tournaments at one point too.
Yeah, he came out and busted out like 6 levels of warrior in like a summer or something like that. And he was more aggressive than other Amtgarders. And when we were fighting, I was like, it was before I got more aggressive with my fighting, so I was like a little unsure of it. And like we'd had like he came in and kind of shield bashed me. Didn't really push me too much, but it was a little bit more uncomfortable for me. And we had a discussion about it, and then we fought it out and had a good time. But they're definitely more generally more aggressive, and that's fine because we need to be more aggressive in the Northwest, anyways. In my opinion, we're very fight from distance, fight from uh, orange fighting distance rather than green or yeah. If you know the red light stuff, I'm just rambling. Sorry.
You don't know it?
Okay. I don't
Look,
know. I've
like a
Oh,
I've heard it described as A, B, and C range. I haven't got
oh,
into
well,
colors. I'm assuming it's the same concept, but
yeah.
it is. It's just the lights of a stoplight.
gotcha. Yeah. So here's the thing, and this will be my contrarian opinion to most people in my position. I don't watch video hardly at all. Um, the my attention span isn't good enough for the ones where they go into more in depth and talking. Even though like there's some that have been good, but like, and then when people are like, oh, like watch the video and study it, I don't get anything out of the video. Like maybe a few things here and there, but I'm not. My brain just doesn't work that way. So yeah, if I'm not in person, I haven't done much of that.
There's definitely a lot to say for the hands-on approach opposed to the watching the video approach. I don't like being able to call shots from a raid perspective has gotten more comfortable with me with all the recording I've done and watching the videos I've done, but I don't think it is translated to the activity of actually fighting. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like the SKBC classes, I can generally get stuff from, but when it's like, oh, like these two really good fighters are sparring, like watch their fights and learn something. I'm like, yeah, I'm not learning anything from that. It's cool watching them fight, but I'm probably not picking anything up for real.
I have to be in a certain mindset in order to get anything out of it. Like I have to actually like kind of like you I have to have a like attention span on it. Um, but like that's not the easiest thing sometimes. And I can get stuff out of videos. I just don't get as much as if I were actually doing it. So I would
Right.
always prefer to actually go try something.
Yeah. Like if like it's I don't know if you've heard about like mindfulness, like focusing on a certain thing, like um for watching a video, like if I really want to, it takes a lot of mental energy to like I'm going to study footwork, so I'm going to watch this video. I'm going to look at this video, but I feel like it's like I watch it for like 2 minutes and it feels like an hour. If I focus on like this is what they did, here's the counter to their footwork there and stuff like that, it's very trying to learn from videos.
I just steal
Yeah,
people's shots that I see at this point. It's like,
yeah.
oh, that
I'll
looks
see
cool.
I'll see shots that I like, and I'm like, I'm gonna try that.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I don't like. Oh man, like look at this like theory. I'm like, I don't see it. Like this. I always feel bad too because I'll have like friends who are like, hey, can you like watch me fight people and then like give me critiques? I'm like, I'm not very good at that. Like, I mean, if I fight you, I can give you critiques, but if you're fighting somebody else, like, I swear to God, I'm trying to pay attention, but I'm probably not. Like,
Mm. Yeah, Sean's got a lot to say. Gonna read chat here for a second. Sean says, I shield hooked someone in a tourney a couple of months back, and he was shocked and amazed, considering he's been playing Amtgard for years. I like trying to hook people. I'm not good at like following up on the hook, but it surprises a lot of people up here. I don't know if Critias has worked too much on hooking because you see them, they get in there, or you get in there, Critias, but I don't see you like hook very often.
I'm a little nervous to hook. I'm afraid I'm gonna hit them with my shield.
Mm.
But like I've tried it a few times with people I'm more comfortable fighting with, like Cameron and Tony. Uh, it's not my thing, just because I'm not an aggressive person that way. If I want to be like shield manipulative, I'll like poke the bottom of their shield with mine or something instead of like full on just moving it out of the way. So I've tried it. It's not really my thing. So yeah.
What about
I
you,
feel like,
Ormus? I know you,
oh, sorry.
I was just calling you out to talk
I
about it, so
know,
go
yeah.
for it.
I'm just talking, dude. I feel like so much of my fighting was developed before it was allowed that it's hard to work it into my style. Like, because it was very much illegal for most of the time I was coming up in the game. And then when they kind of added it, I was like, oh, that's cool, but like, I'm already kind of doing my thing, you know what I mean? So I've also found it's hard for me to try it. I try it every once in a while, but I mostly try it on kind of the opposite of you, where you're trying it on better opponents. I tend to do it to opponents that I'm not as concerned about, um, because I don't find it to be very effective against people who are more experienced or whatnot.
I mean, that's probably the better way to do it, honestly. I'm just so concerned that I'm gonna hurt someone that I can't. And I'm positive I won't. It's just the idea that I might.
Hmm.
And that's actually why I'm not very good at Great Weapon either, because I don't want to practice it because I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt someone with it.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
practice it in like ditches and stuff like that, because then it's like you can be more. Everything's kind of more jovial in a ditch than like a tournament. So like I was just use that as like my experimental place.
Hmm.
I
I
guess I could try that.
I would suggest if you're worried about great weapon, try it. Don't work. Don't try to go for shoulder shots. Don't try to do anything that would hit the head. Try for your other shots until you get more comfortable with your accuracy in a larger weapon. Then try for the more complicated shots where they could go bad. Because you're right, there's a higher potential of hurting someone because the other person can move in a way that you don't expect, and so instead of come down on their shoulder, come down straight on their head, or you hit their nose, or it happens. It doesn't happen as
Yeah,
much as I think you worry about it, but it
probably not.
does.
But like, because like I know if it happens to me, like I'm okay with it because like stuff happens. But like I have a very like big issue with like confrontation. So if I were to hurt someone and they were to get mad at me, I would probably just like curl up in a ball and just like sit there and cry because I don't like it, dude. It bothers me so much. So instead of that happening, I just eliminate the the possibility of it happening.
That's understandable.
I'm always just like I'm as a in general, I'm just super apologetic. But like for the most part, like I can if I hit someone on top of the head or something like that, I'd be like, oh man, I'm super sorry about that. Then it's like pat them on the shoulder like that, you're good. You know, unless they're not, you know what I mean? But like, yeah. Um Yeah, I don't know. We used to do.
Cut out or Ormus.
Oh, sorry.
Can't hear
Uh,
you.
oh, can you hear me now?
Can't hear you.
I can
No,
hear him.
that's just you.
Yeah, I I can hear
I
him
can't hear
fine.
Critias either. Can you
What?
Oh
guys hear
no.
me?
Yes.
Hold up your hands if you
Yes.
can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let's figure this out. Let's see if this works. Talk.
All right, we're talking.
No.
No,
No?
nothing.
Do you press? You pressed a button, dude. I don't know
What's
which one
going
you
on?
pressed,
I'm
but.
confused. Oh my god, what's going on? Um do me a favor. I'm sorry for everyone that's watching. Why don't you guys back out and reconnect? Oh, you hear all of us. Oh, well damn, what's going on with me? My headphone died.
Aha! His headphone died.
Sorry about that, guys. Hold on a second. No, my headphone didn't die. What the fuck?
Should I still back out? Critias, try saying something. See if he hears you.
Is he gonna hear me without his headphones on?
That's a great question.
Talk?
I don't know.
Can you hear me at all?
No.
No. Uh, the Minerva says she can hear all of us. If that helps you at all.
Yeah.
You guys keep having a conversation while I try to figure this out.
We're just gonna delete Baelnorn out of it. And just.
Yeah, this is our show now.
Yeah. No, my favorite is using like two-handed swords, like two-handed long swords, but like super light ones. So like it's a lot more forgiving and stuff like that. So you can get your form and stuff down without smashing people in the head with heavy ass swords.
Anytime I've tried to make like anything bigger than a short weapon, basically, it's always came out, maybe not heavy, but just like weighted where I hate it and I don't want to use it. And I've tried multiple times and I've like tried different things to make it work and I just can't get it and I don't know why. Like it's always just that weird feeling of like I don't like the way this weapon feels and I don't want to use it because of that.
Yeah, and to be fair, the last time I made like a two-handed sword was back when Fun Noodle was still usable. And like
Yeah.
my buddy literally he like it was a PVC handle with a golf club like jammed down into it, so it was super light.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us now?
I can. It had something to do with my software. But
Nice.
whatever. It just randomly stopped working.
Hmm.
Sean says anything gets bigger than a short gets progressively more dangerous and requires more skill to not hurt someone. True. I agree with that.
That's one thing where the SCA kind of gets it right, in my opinion, where like you have to certify with different like because when I was doing SCA, I was certified in sword and shield. So like if you want to use like a pole arm or whatever, you have to certify in that before you can go out and use it in a war or something.
Interesting.
I don't think it's
So
feasible in Amtgard, but it's a different concept.
We don't even do our class testing that we're supposed to do, so I think you should try polearm Critias. You can do a lot without trying to go for the shoulders, like legs, arms, and stomach, chest. That's enough to kill a lot of people, even with a shield, because you can clip their arms, clip their legs. I would still suggest you feint for their shoulders, though. Don't make them think that you're not going to hit their shoulders, but you can easily come down and move around and go for their legs. There's lots of ways, but I understand nervousness. It's reasonable.
I I know that I'll be okay because there's been times in tournaments where I've done great bracket and I've done very well. It's just I don't know. There's some days where I'm not confident enough to like try it, but
Mm.
it's something I want to fix because like it feels my warlord feels incomplete without knowing how to do great, honestly. So that's something I want to fix.
Personal opinion, I agree. I think they should be a little bit well rounded. If you feel that your pole arm is underdeveloped, then I agree that you should try to. You don't have to be the best or anything, but
No, I do.
oh, okay. Well, okay, Chris, you should be the best.
All right.
Do it.
You're right.
I believe in you.
Thanks, homie.
I I firmly believe that by virtue of your time spent swinging foam-based weapons, that if someone were to put a pole arm in your hand, you wouldn't embarrass yourself. So like,
That's true.
I don't think it's that big. I don't have a problem, and this might be because it's coming from someone who focuses a lot on sword and shield and is sort of known for that. That I don't really have a problem with it.
Mm.
I call it, like, some people call it a crutch. I call it a specialty. I don't know.
I just have higher standards for myself than anybody else. Like for everyone else, like I couldn't care less. Like if you don't know how to do a certain weapon set, oh well, you don't want to learn, okay. For me though, it bothers me.
Yeah, that's good though. You should hold yourself to a higher standard. If you ever find yourself like looking at someone else and holding them to a higher standard than you hold yourself, then you done fucked up for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
I do have a
Sean's.
great oh go ahead.
Oh, you had something to say? Say it.
Nothing important.
Okay. I'm just reading chat. Sean said, yeah, I think there should be a max length on weapons for V9. It gives 3 for short, 4 for long, 5 for great, 6 for polearm, 7 for spear. He also said, we only use it for a straight year. Well, only use it for a straight year and you will be the best. I'm guessing it's talking about you, Critias, just using the polearm for a year. You'll be the best.
I gotta find one that I'm actually comfortable with first. Like I can't. Vaughn likes the whippy ones. I can't use those. Like I just
I
can't
don't like
predict
the.
where it's gonna hit. So I have to. I have one in my garage. I think I made out of bamboo that I've never taken it out, but like I purposely made it the way that I like poles made. I just have been too lazy to try it out.
Mm. I'm also not a fan of the whippy ones because whip shots don't count. And it's hard to call them, but a lot of those whippy poles, almost all their shots are whips. And I feel bad calling that
What?
because
So technically, it's only illegal if it whips at the point, if it flexes at the point of the block. I think, unless I'm wrong, because I think the core can have flex to it, but it just can't, wherever it impacts your shield or block or whatever, it can't flex from there. But it's
yeah,
really
so
hard to
like
tell with some of Vaughn's pulls, honestly.
yeah, I just they are hard to tell and they shouldn't be. They should just be straightforward. But
He
yeah,
gave me one that was kind of like that. That's got some whip to it. It's not a ton, so I was like able to use it for a little bit. But then I tried doing more like fancier stuff with it, like to try and fake like for somewhere and go somewhere else, and the whip of it just like smacks it somewhere completely different. So I'm like, okay, this probably is not my thing.
yeah. Sean says bamboo is the best, and bamboo is good.
Yeah.
The last polearm I had, and I'm Critias hasn't seen this because I haven't had a polearm for years, but polearm is one of my favorite styles, and I was decent at it, and I was just made a polearm from a harbinger polearm class. We were playing in a jugging, so jugging gets competitive to begin with, and then my polearm, after only having it for a couple weeks, broke in the middle of like jugging. Like it just splintered, it broke in half. And then I uncharacteristically lost my cool. I didn't get mad at anyone. I just got mad and then broke the polearm more over my knee and just walked off. Yeah, that was my last experience with a bamboo polearm. All of the Harbinger's polearms broke really quickly because it was a bad shipment of polearms because OP had ordered it from a bamboo place. He didn't go into like Fred Meyer's and inspect every one to pick out the best one. So yeah, it was frustrating. I would like to learn. I would like to have a band shot pole, but I am so fucking weak that they're heavier, and
That's my problem too.
yeah.
You guys gotta start lifting heavy things.
No.
Yeah, I
Spear's not
like
heavy enough.
for me, like, an ideal pole arm is like probably like 7 to 8 feet long and has like 1 inch bamboo for the core. I'm a big fan of the bamboo poles.
Yeah, I like more of a war pole ish than the 6 foot spears that I see. The thinner bamboo ones or the kite spar, the thicker but thinner kite spar ones, like the ones that Vaughn uses. I don't know if he's using thin bamboo or thin or kite spar, but
Right.
yeah, I like. Do you know Critias?
Yeah, I think his newer ones are a carbon fiber core, but I don't know exactly what they are.
Hmm. They break.
We have a a trios tournament, so three person teams tournament at IO on Saturday. Yes, tomorrow. And there's a group of Hybris players who were talking about putting a team together with all 8 foot pole arms, all three of them.
Oh, Sean's max length opinion was based on safety,
Sure,
which I
yeah.
can
I
see
mean,
that. Yeah, I haven't seen many pole arms in many years that were longer than like maybe 8 feet, and that's pushing it. Most of the ones I see are 7 foot something. But
DeVry came out to NLCC with a 13 footer.
Jesus.
It broke so fast, honestly. Like it was an experiment that ended up with a much shorter pole arm for him.
Torg said, "What's it going to take for you, Baelnorn, to use polearm again?" And I says, "Yeah, I need to get one first." He's like, "I'll make you one." And I said, "Well, it has to be band shop." He says, "Okay." So I don't know if he'll actually ever make me a band shop polearm, but I might have a band shop polearm coming. I might take the field again
Nice.
if I can hold it. They're so heavy. Sean
All right.
says,
Well,
as things get.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just reading. As things get longer, they tend to get heavier and hard to pass, especially if slashing, which is true. But you have to head out.
Yeah, I think I gotta get off of here.
All right. Well, let me close out then, because
No,
it
no
is after
problem.
11
Sorry.
o'clock. That's fine. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming to Baelnorn and Friends, the 2023 January edition. We will be continuing on YouTube probably over the year. I'm going to try and make clips of the and post them. It'll be easier now that it's on YouTube. I don't have to go into the explanation of that, but it's easier. And I don't know if we will. We will be back in February. I don't know who will be here, and I don't know the date. If you want to keep apprised, like, subscribe, keep lookout. I will announce within a week before the event live. I will also post it on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Sir Baelnorn. And I also post it in my local groups. But if you want to keep track of that, either subscribe to YouTube or go to my Facebook page. And thank you. I'd like to thank Critias over there and Ormus down there. And let's see, what was it? Sir Stranger and Sir Orc and Sir Unum for the stream. And Sean, thank you for being in chat. I hope everyone has a good day.